Welcome to Drinkin Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
Welcome to Drinkin Bros Fake News. It's that time of year, Dan.
Sure is.
It's the blood moon time. You gotta have that menstruation all over your face.
Oh, is that where are you getting yours?
Me?
Yeah.
Not from my wife, because that'd be a little too personal. We try to keep some things private, like poo-poo and pee-pee jokes. Like we keep all that private. As well as her period, I'll respect that. So I outsource. I'll usually go to the state next to me. So Louisiana is where I'm getting my period blood from these days.
And how does that come exactly?
I'm sorry?
How does it come?
In a vial. I get it in a vial. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll typically go Angelina Jolie. I'll wear it around my neck.
Oh, like she was wearing
Billy Bob
Thornton's blood? Yeah.
Yep. And when it strikes me throughout the day, usually, I don't know, every 58 minutes, I'll rub some underneath my eyes as if I'm about to get into some form of athletic event. And then I'll go on about my day. Because it's the stems in it. You know, it's the cells. A lot of stems, a lot of cells, a lot of mitochondria. Things that are way above your head, Dan.
What if you take a facial after? Do you get your face pregnant? I mean, how does that work?
So here's the thing. Girls are actually doing that, and they're applying it to their faces. And apparently it's supposed to rejuvenate you and make you look younger.
Yeah. No, I got that.
Yeah.
We've all seen that trend.
I'm new to it.
But if you've got period blood on your face,
right,
and somebody comes on your face,
sure.
Does your face get pregnant? Like, I don't know how it works.
No, because you're on your period. So...
Oh, that's just kicking out a dead egg.
Correct.
So me jerking off on periods all these years, that's been pointless.
Dead
Jesus
eggs.
Fucking Christ.
Dead eggs.
I could have gone to one goddamn biology class and figured that out.
Yeah, but you didn't. Instead, you came here, and this is where not only are you getting the best podcasts in the world, but you're also getting an education, and you're welcome from me. Professor Patterson is here today, and the top story, D'Anthony, is Lil Wayne. Tunchi, Wheezy F Baby, has endorsed Donald John Trump for president and went as far as taking a picture with him, which 50 Cent called the worst mistake of his life, was taking that picture. Because the picture's going to live forever.
Yeah, they sure do, but so does fucking liver and kidney disease. So I'm pretty sure Lil Wayne's made some bigger, more problematic choices than that.
He's had his issues. One of those was seizures from not having enough syrup inside of his system to physically enable him to operate.
Easily fixed with more syrup.
Agreed. And that's what he said, by the way. So he told his reps, we're all done with me trying to quit. Stop asking me to go to rehab. I'm just going to ride this out. And I respect that.
It's like somebody that's never used a fucking weed eater before trying to put the wrong kind of, like you put two cycle oil in that shit, bitch.
Yeah.
Sometimes some bodies need different shit.
Yeah.
Like diets aren't all the same. You might eat one way and have one result. I might eat another way and have one result. Personally, I need to be full of Adderall, weed, and alcohol all day long to just function.
Yeah.
Right? Anything on top of that is bonus.
Just to get up on two legs and walk around this world, that is what you need.
Well, I'm thinking about going full wheelchair, to be honest.
Ooh.
I think it would be a power move. Like here's one of the things I've always wanted to do. I want to get in a motorized wheelchair and then intentionally find a place that doesn't have a ramp and just pull up there and sit there and be like, what the fuck? And then like whenever they resolve that issue, however they resolve it, I just get up out of the chair and walk to my table.
We can let the audience in on a little secret. Last night, Tim Kennedy was on. Great show, by the way, if you haven't watched it. Tim's one of our favorites of all time, man. Whenever he's on the show, you feel like a better person. I said that yesterday in the intro, and it's true. We were at, what was the name of that event? It was a TACP.
You know what? I don't remember the name of it. It was at Reveille Ranch out there in Burnett, Texas. It's cold as shit out there, too.
Cold. We were layered up, but more importantly, we were supposed to have Governor Abbott's, a.k.a. Wheelchair himself, on the show yesterday, along with another congressman. I will say this. I talked to some of the reps, and I said, what's happening with these boys today? They're not out in the middle of nowhere with us, right? And their response was they are genuinely worried about this upcoming election on Tuesday. Therefore, they're jamming in more campaigning. And I understand it.
That as well. And then in addition to that, like Austin, we had Austin police doing our security at WTFI's house for the election show.
Correct.
But we had to find a different organization because they're 100% assigned to any kind of potential public unrest that happens after the results of the election come through.
Which is crazy to me.
That means, here's what I'll say. People do not stress out when the left gets their way.
Right.
Right? Because the right typically doesn't go burn shit down.
Mm-hmm.
Like you noticed when the thing with Breonna Taylor came out, that the officers weren't going to be charged. Days in advance, they started prepping for it. So we knew exactly what the result was going to be. We knew before it ever happened what it was going to be just based on that. That kind of seems like maybe there's some indication that somebody knows something that we don't, right? Insofar as Trump doing pretty well. Yeah, I don't know. But maybe I'm reading into that too much. I don't know.
I'm not sure, but we've heard a lot of inside baseball talk from some of our Politico friends at this point, and all they're saying is expect a gigantic surprise on Tuesday. Which clearly means they think Trump is going to win. And now, is the gigantic surprise a landslide? I'm not sure. We've got a guest on Sunday night from New Jersey who was talking about the rising up of people fucking voting for Trump, and it's traditionally a blue state. We'll see. I still have New Jersey as blue, but I'm in that camp. Obviously, look, I've gone all in on Trump, so I think so, and I think it's smart for the Austin police to mobilize because it's one of those cities where it's just like, you
never know.
Something will happen.
Yeah, you never know. I feel like Miami seems to be flipping as well.
Yes.
But there's a reason. So when you see a major city flip, it's big news. But I think in that case, there's a very specific reason. It's mostly the South Central American and Caribbean dissidents who've fled communism.
Cuba, Venezuela, and not only that, but socialism.
Yeah,
and they came from socialism, and all of their remarks have been the same of like, look, man, that's what we came from.
Yep.
It clearly does not work. Therefore, we do not want it here, and we love America, and we're proud to be here. We don't want to see it end up like the country we just fled from.
Right.
So I understand it, and that is not going to change. Dan and I will be doing a show on Monday, too, the day before the election. We are still all in on Trump. I know it is officially, as of today, the most gambled on event in American history. Over $1 billion have been placed on this election via the right or the left, and Trump is still the underdog. So I went all in on mybookie.com. Promo code Drinkin Bros will double your deposits, and it let me max out at $2,000. But I heard they were going to raise the limits, so I'll check it out to the show. I got a text right before we came on. And I know Xander, I think he's on Bovada maybe, or I forget the name. It starts with a B. They let him put in $10,000 on the election, which is a lot.
What is it on there? What's their odd?
Same thing. It's plus 145.
Oh, it's 145.
It's plus 145. So Trump is the underdog. It's plus 145. For everybody out there who's asking what the fuck that means, if you put 100 on it, you win $145 back, which is 1.5. He's a 1.5 underdog,
right,
for this race. And Benny, the ticket guru, hit me up, and he has also placed a rather large wager on Trump as well. And these are gambling guys who don't really give a shit about politics.
No, they're just like to gamble.
Yes. And if you're looking at it from a gambling standpoint, an incumbent president has only lost once in the last 105 years. So from a gambling sense, I understand why people are betting on it. I'm shocked that the odds are still as high as they are, because that seems crazy to me. If anything, I would imagine it would have been a pick 'em, I guess, but it's not. It's not.
It's very difficult to measure voter sentiment.
It is, including what's going to happen every single day, like this Lil Wayne thing. Is very surprising, man. Shit.
I'm not sure it is surprising. I don't know that it is. I think people when you have the ability to vote your own interest, right? Some people don't because they don't have all the facts, because they feel like they're voting between a good and a bad choice, or they're voting between two evils or whatever the fuck. Very rarely in life are you able to go out, unless it's some kind of ballot measure, and vote on something that will directly affect your life immediately, right? And I believe a lot of these wealthy fellas are realizing they can go out and do two things. One, the First Step Act, where black people are getting released from prison, you know, from the bill that Joe Biden wrote. That's a big deal to these folks. It's been something that's been going on in that community for a long time. It's something that's driven a lot of the economic inequality that's gotten us to the situation we're in today. That's a big deal for them. The other place they're going to feel it is in their checkbook. All these famous rappers, athletes, they all live in states with fucking super high tax rates. Not all of them. Not all the athletes, but all the entertainers definitely do. They're in New York or California, for the most part. So I think when they saw those numbers come out, like, I don't know what you know about black culture, but somebody taking 60% of their shit isn't really on the list of approved activities. You know what I mean?
One would think, right? So,
and I can't imagine it is for anybody except for white liberals, to be honest. They're the only people that seem to be okay with that shit for some reason.
Yeah, and that's where I was going with this. So, obviously I went to Twitter when I saw this picture pop up on my phone, because like a million people texted me the picture of Trump and Lil Wayne together.
Right.
And I went to Twitter to see their feedback on it. And, of course, liberals and black Twitter is what they call it. Shit gets wild like this. They were all obviously disavowing Weezy, and they couldn't believe it, and blah, blah, blah. To take that picture with him, what 50 Cent was talking about, will live in infamy forever, because I don't remember. Look, with Obama, it was different, right? First black president, every rapper was all in. Jay-Z, all these guys. But Donald Trump, during a time that is as volatile as this, is a big boy move, because, I mean, you could be eliminating a good majority of your audience there by doing it. Clearly, he thinks otherwise, Lil Wayne. And he believes in this platinum plan. But by the way, if you don't know what the platinum plan is, it is a plan to dump $500 billion into black communities. It is actually something that Dan has been championing for 8-9 months on this show. Ever since, the BLM and all that other stuff has been going on. And that it's the only real way to help your community for generational wealth. I don't know why he's getting hammered for wanting to help his own community.
Yeah, same with Ice Cube. Ice Cube, I mean, it was a little bit different for Cube, because he made this specific point that I'm not trying to endorse Donald Trump. This isn't political for me. This is about my goddamn people. You know what I mean? Which is a respectful way to go about it, I think. My guess is he's probably voting for Trump, or has already voted for Trump, based on the attitude that he's shown. I mean, look, if the most important issue to you in your life at this point is social justice, and you see that, and there's two political party options, and you are a major celebrity with a lot of pull in the community, and you say to both of them, hey, I want to talk about this. One of them says, we'll talk after the election, and the other one says, let's get something done now. Who are you going to vote for? Like, I'm not a mind reader, but goddamn, man, it would be very difficult for a rational and smart person to go against their own interests that hard, right? I think. I don't know. But it's not a matter. I don't care who Ice Cube or Lil Wayne endorses. That's meaningless to me.
Same.
Like they live their lives and we live ours, and collectively we all share our thoughts through this experience of debate and voting, and that's how we come to the best answer for the most amount of people, right? So in that way, his voice does matter for sure. But as a celebrity, because he writes songs about buttholes and stuff, doesn't make me give a shit what he thinks about politics, because he's
lollipops.
Yeah.
I'm a big
truffle butter is
I'm a big Lil Wayne fan.
Oh, I love Lil Wayne. Yeah, his music's great.
6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot Trump.
You guys are really talking some some new Lil Wayne. Drought 3 was probably his pinnacle.
Which
peak.
one? Carter 3?
No, right before that. The mixtape right before that. The Drought 3.
All right, Carter 3 was Yeah, fucking great.
It's great. Yeah. He was on like 200 different people's songs that year, right before that.
Dude.
I thought him saying bling bling as a 13-year-old was probably...
Bling bling.
Oh, the Hot Boys. The
Hot Boys. Do you remember the Hot Boys?
504 Boys. Oh, dude, he was sitting on that basketball rim with the tank.
Yeah, pinky rings worth about 20.
Somebody said if he died and you actually went through his vault, they were like, you probably find 20,000 songs.
Yeah, just laying there.
Yeah.
Well, here's
all
what
he does is record all goddamn day. Where he used
and
to.
sip lean.
Yeah.
So the picture, by the way, just to get back to the story, Lil Wayne tweeted that picture and said, just had a great meeting with @real Donald at POTUS. Besides what he's done so far with criminal reform, referring to the First Step Act, is the Platinum Plan is going to give the community real ownership. And he continued that he listened to what we had to say today and assured he will and can get it done. So Kaylee, the McEnany, the press secretary, said officials have been speaking to Lil Wayne's team for a while now, and it culminated with Thursday's meeting. So it seems like I don't know that we knew this before. I haven't heard a whole lot about any of this in the press until the Ice Cube thing came out, but apparently the Trump team has been talking to a lot of very famous black people for some time now.
They have, in particular, Jared Kushner. And this is a name that keeps coming up. And I tell you guys, look, watch out for the dark horse of Ivanka in 2024. She's married to Jared Kushner. Behind the scenes, he's the one that's doing all these Middle East peace deals.
Right.
He's also the one that's been going into the black community. He took a lot of shit on for his Fox News interview last week for saying that, look, we can provide you with the assets and everything, but you also have to want to do it yourself and make yourself into successful business people. We can't just give you money and think that that's going to help. Like, you guys.
Why would he take shit for that?
Because everybody was talking about a privileged white man talking about how people need to live their lives and succeed and all that other shit.
Right. Yeah. So there's two parts of that. One is the tools or the money, and the other part is the advice and the mentorship.
Right.
He's giving you both. The money's there. It's not like he's fucking. It's not like you're 5'6" and he's trying to say, "Why can't you dunk, man? Just dunk." No, he fucking built you a goddamn ladder, so now you can dunk. So let's fucking do this. That's. I've been so angry about this whole time because of all the just misdirection and red herrings in the media, like this thing or that thing. Did you? And there's stories will come out about how COVID is disproportionately affecting black people. Like, that's absolutely true. Why? Tell me why.
Right.
Because of economic inequality, right? And again, for the 1 millionth time on this show, poverty, crime, directly related. One of the oldest known facts about criminal justice is sociology. Man, I just want a sign that says that. I can just hold it up and not say those words ever again because I'm getting fucking tired of having to say it all the time. Every single fucking day, it's some new jack-off in the media talking about, well, this thing, what about this little fucking nugget I picked out? You're just fucking finding symptoms of the same disease around here and talking all about the symptoms where you never fucking get down to that fucking disease and try to cure it. You're a cunt. You're just trying to profit. If you're in the media right now, you are literally trying to profit off these people's suffering. That is what you're doing. Yeah. Because you know you have the influence to, if you were intellectually honest with yourself, make an actual change, hold both sides responsible for this shit, make them spend money and in a real way like this, like investing in education, entrepreneurship, and all that stuff. But no, we're going to talk about how it makes me feel instead of fixing anything.
Yeah, and I remember when Trump got into office and Kanye went in and Steve Harvey and a bunch of black celebrities went in to meet with Trump about working with him or what he could do specifically for their community. All of them took shit over and over and over again. And it's like, man, if you have an opportunity to meet with the president, whatever political party you believe in or don't believe in or whatever, you take that opportunity if it's going to help your community. If you're going to get shit on like this over and over and over again, it's going to shame people away from not wanting to meet with the presidents and their political figures to make real change within their communities. I don't understand this at all, especially if somebody's going to give you $500 billion to help out. Like it or not, money is a great way out of poverty.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only way, actually. By the way, the $500 billion is about half of what we think the black community was robbed of, basically, during slavery, right? So they weren't able to create generational wealth 400 to 100 and whatever years ago. that's a good start.
Yeah,
like that's gonna have a fucking huge impact on these people's lives.
I
like,
agree,
no question. And speaking of impact on people's lives, I wonder what you think about whether or not people in the black community are going to be influenced by these celebrities coming out, not necessarily in support of Trump directly. In some cases, yes. Some cases, it's just the policies. But will that affect the way people vote or whether they vote? Because I think voter turnout for young black people is worse than any other group, I believe.
Right.
So I wonder if it either motivates them to vote, because now it's kind of late in the process. Maybe it was too late for that shit. Or if people who are otherwise, I mean, look, 89% or so of black people usually vote Democrat, give or take. I wonder, that's one of the most interesting things about this election cycle for me, is to see where that goes. To see who's paying attention.
Regarding the black community in this election, the most interesting thing to me about all of this is there is so many white politicians who are telling them who to vote for because of their race, as if they can't think for themselves and make up their own mind and make up their own decisions on what would be best for them and their communities. If I'm black in America today and I see Joe Biden on TV saying you ain't black if you're voting for and all this other shit, it's like, at what point do you get sick of that? Of somebody who's of the opposite race telling you who to vote for and why? I don't understand it, but on the flip side of it, I have seen more people during this election cycle, more black people come out and be like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm tired of you telling me who I should vote for.
Right.
And they're not saying one way or another who they are voting for, but they're saying, fuck you. I'm tired of being told who to vote for just because either you need my votes or you think I should think a certain way. And more importantly, friends of ours, black friends of ours, who've been shamed for the way that they've come out and voted. The Hodge twins, the Marine rapper, all these guys like Candace Owens, like people we actually know who are just like, yo, man, we had the Marine rapper on here, and I was like, how much shit did you take when you came out and said you were supporting Trump? Because he voted for Obama in the last cycle. And he goes, dude, I just try to go election by election and pick the best person. And he goes, you wouldn't fucking believe it. If you go to his account, he's posting it like every day now of all the hatred he's receiving online. And it's like, why are people telling you to vote just because of your race? Like, that's crazy. If somebody said that to white people, hey, man, Ross, you're white. Why are you voting for this candidate? I would lose my fucking mind.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see more and more of that. Therefore, I think, again, on Tuesday, I think some of these, the numbers you're going to see in the outcomes as far as demographics and race of who voted for Trump, I think it's going to be a little bit surprising, where you're like, oh, shit, maybe we actually do, if you're a Democrat, maybe we do have to work harder and help out the black community for these votes. Because let's face it, Obama didn't do shit for the black community.
Right.
At all. And one would have thought that would have been his chief priority.
Well, I mean, look, the economy for black people under Obama did really well.
The economy did, but the economy's doing well.
But as far
for
as
Trump, for them as
right,
well.
Yeah. As far as actually, Obama, I think, had the biggest individual movement on the economy for the black community, but mostly because, let's be real, George W. Bush left this country in a massive recession.
Correct.
But it wasn't just him. It was the regulatory environment and the housing crisis. Just go watch Too Big to Fail, or what was it called? The movie with fucking Steve Carell and Christian Bale. What's it called?
What's it called?
Short.
The Big Short. Yeah.
Yes.
Watch that movie. It's an entertaining movie. Some of the facts are kind of weird, but the information, generally speaking, is true. None of these people went to jail.
Right.
Like, what they were doing was taking these really shitty securities, like mortgage securities, and bundling them all together and selling them as an individual product. So what they would do is they would take a bunch of like AAA, like really high rated credit stuff, and just attach a bunch of bullshit to the back of it and then sell it all as AAA, basically, is one thing. And well, that doesn't work. That's like you're selling apples and all the apples on top look good and the ones on the bottom are rotten.
Right.
Sometime in the future, that's going to break down for you, right? That's what happened. Nobody went to jail. It's really interesting to see all that stuff. But anyways, Obama was coming back from a really shitty economy. But Trump did it from a position of, I think we weren't really flat at that point. It was still trending, but not really anymore. Like, we had definitely plateaued.
Right.
under Obama, and he took that and fucking made it go higher, like way higher. So the best, when you say the best economy ever for Black Americans, that is true.
Yes.
But it's not fair to say Obama didn't do something for the Black economy. I don't know what his economic policies did, or if it was just coming back from recession. But on the social justice, he did release a lot of individuals from prison, but nothing policy-wise ever got done. No executive orders that had any real meaningful impact on any of that stuff.
Right.
No reinvestment of funds into the Black community in that way. No, he was too busy investing in failed solar companies. I think it was like wind. There's like 17 solar and wind companies that the federal government subsidized that failed over the course of like 3 years or some shit like that.
Yeah,
It's insane.
And a lot of people forget that the Ferguson riots were going on in the summer of 2016.
Right.
When Obama was in office, and it was the same as what we're experiencing now. He didn't do anything to quell that shit either. So, fuck, man. Again, if I'm a Black person out in America right now and somebody's telling me who to fucking vote for and why, I would tell them to get fucked.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. If you want, go look at what's our buddy's name over there? Let me look him up right quick. There, God damn it. Hang on. I gotta look his name up. The guy that we had on the show not too long ago, who James Klug. So he's like kind of an independent reporter, political commentator. He's like a man on the street guy.
Yeah.
So he's been up in Philly for the riots and all this shit. But last week he was just kind of walking up to people and asking Black people, like, what do you think about Black Trump supporters? And they'll go on about this and that. Some people don't care. Some people do care. And he asked white people too, like Black and white people, what they thought about Black Trump supporters. And then he brought over an actual Black Trump supporter to answer their questions and stuff like that. It was really interesting. But he does that a lot. He asks people questions that make them think, which is important, because people for the last however long don't seem to have been involved in too much thinking. They were consuming a lot of information, but they weren't doing any thinking for themselves.
Right.
And it's the nature of infotainment, right? Like, you can't get away from that at this point. It's not just information anymore. I feel like I deserve to be entertained while I'm getting my information, which is kind of a fucking stupid idea, right? But it is interesting to see these anecdotal spots. I really want to see these election returns and see if there has been any real incremental change in the way people are thinking. If I'm not saying that Donald Trump is the best president ever. I'm not even a big fan of his. But if you see more Black people vote for him this year, after all this stuff has happened, than in the previous year, that says something about the way that community is starting to think, in my opinion.
Correct. And then to put a nice little bow on this convo here, in the rap community, before he was president, people loved Donald Trump. I mean, they fucking loved him. He was that guy, man, who was just super entertaining and rich and everything everybody aspires to be. Fuck, Mac Miller wrote it.
I was gonna say, do we play the Mac Miller song right now?
Yeah, right. It's like he is in Donald
shit.
Trump. Yeah, is in a million rap songs and has been for years and years and years. So who knows, man? We'll see what happens or if this has any effect. But it was certainly a story that shook the world last night. We got some sponsors, though, who pay for the show to be on the air. Dan, send me that email real quick.
I already sent it, I think, didn't I?
For the news.
First
and foremost, ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. 30% off if you're a member of the military or first responder, a teacher, or work in the government in this life. Maybe Trump can use his... He's got a president. He works in the government.
I think that would work, yeah.
Yeah. Trump, if you're watching, we know you do every single day. We know you listen every day. Yes, you can use ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros and get 30% off your mattress. Because let's face it, you probably need some new mattresses in the White House, right? You definitely need one in the Steele dossier.
Oh, yeah.
According to them.
Yeah.
So go to ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros today. If you're just a regular human like myself, there's 2 more days left. They got an October bundle package where you can bundle everything together and get 30% off, and then also use that with a 36-month pay-as-you-go program, which has no interest there. So if you're looking to snuggle up before Election Day, you can get your order in now. It'll be there Tuesday. Pop it up out of the box, and you can enjoy the election festivities with us on your television, on the used tubes with us. We will be live from downtown Austin with Whiskey Tango Foxtrot and a lot of other celebrities. Shit like that. It'll be a fun, crazy night.
Is it weird that I want a mattress that squeaks just like as kind of a flex? Like if I have guests over, I want it to be noisy so they know what exactly was, even if I'm just pounding off in the air.
Yeah. I will say this. If you get the adjustable base, you can put it on vibrate.
Yeah, so but they're not going to hear the vibrate.
No, it's not that. But when they come over, because we've had people stay in the guest room with the vibrate, and they're like, oh, you guys have a vibrating mattress? And it was just, and they always ask.
We're probably going to be standing there Saturday night after the Halloween stuff because I'm going to ruin that bed.
Yeah. The
adjustable
base is
I want you
there.
to go to the wide.
Yeah.
Go to the wide?
Yeah.
I want you to look me in the eyes. Mm-hmm. I'm ruining that bed.
Oh, I understand.
Okay.
I understand. Worse has happened at my house in guest rooms.
That's true,
with
actually.
Children.
Whoa, with children. Whoa.
Yeah.
You mean like shitting on things?
No. I won't say who this was, but with Jax, my firstborn, we had a bunch of people staying there in the guest room. And
somebody peed on him?
No. A young lady brought how do I say this delicately?
Giant dildo?
Multiple.
She had her sex kit. That's right. I remember
correct.
that, yeah.
And then she had all of the dildos rolled up in a towel and then had a bag for said dildos. And we had all gone to dinner before that prior.
Now, did she bring the dildos with her to dinner? Or?
Yeah, yes, they were on her person. So it was like...
but you mean on her person, not in her car. She had the bag with her that whole time.
No, they were in her car. But she carried it in like it was a suitcase. So I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, all right, cool, man. And then the story the next day was, oh my gosh, this was graphic. When I looked in my washer, there was 5 towels. Had not put any in there. So that was coming from the upstairs. Not sure how wet that was, how wild that was.
Yeah, you want to go ahead and glove up before you reach into that laundry basket.
Yep, never slept on that couch again.
Matt Meineke, I guess it says.
Matt Meineke on here?
It says, does Ghostbed put the rest in civil unrest? That's pretty good.
That's a great slogan. They can take that. Ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros puts the rest in civil unrest.
Did you get that email?
I did. Next up, the GDP grew 33.1% in the third quarter, which came out yesterday. The United States GDP accelerated at a 33.1 annualized pace in the third quarter. The Commerce Department reported better than the 32% estimates from a Dow Jones economist survey. A surge in business and residential investment, along with stronger consumer activity, helped the economy after its worst ever quarter in Q2. Once you're coming off the worst quarter, obviously, in history, the U.S. economy grew at its fastest pace ever in the third quarter as a nation that was battered by, obviously, unprecedented pandemic. And, look, as well as natural disasters and all that shit, we've had 9,000 hurricanes this year, including another one that just hit yesterday in New Orleans. So it's pretty impressive. The markets obviously reacted positive to the news. More importantly, I will say this: it is a very big prognosticator of the election. So whatever this report usually comes in, if it is favorable going into an election, typically the incumbent president wins.
Yeah, there's a lot of not just the incumbent president, the incumbent party at large. Even when Bush Sr. replaced Reagan, that was the case.
Right.
So there's only been one case in the last 100 years where a president was reelected during what you might call a mild recession, and that was Calvin Coolidge. But aside from that, over the last 105 years, anytime the Dow Jones is healthy and GDP is growing and our trade deficit is on our side, only one president is lost. Or only one party has lost.
Correct.
That and 105 years. So what is that? It's a lot of elections. You know what I mean? That's 26 elections.
It's a lot. And after this report came out and after I looked at this number, I went immediately to Nate Silver's website. This motherfucker is everywhere.
He doesn't care.
No, doesn't care. So not only does he have Trump still losing, that's up to 92%. 92% that Trump will lose. 92, China. 92%. He also has the Democrats taking over the Senate and the House. somebody finally called him out. That wasn't me. I've been railing on this motherfucker for years at this point, and said, "Hey, man, did you look at the Rasmussen poll?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Yes, I have included that." And apparently that is his 8% right there, because every other poll is why he's got it at 92. And they were like, "You don't think there's anything to this whatsoever?" And he said, "No." So boy, Nate Silver, man. I would imagine that the next 3 nights are going to be sleepless for him, because if he is wrong on Tuesday, the fucking world will come crashing down around him. I'll spend a full goddamn hour on Nate Silver myself.
We'll ruin him.
Jesus Christ.
Actually, we'll just reveal how he's ruined himself. It wouldn't be us ruining him necessarily.
No, it'd be like Geraldo when he dug up Capone's empty vault live on TV, where you're just like,
fucking Mr. Mustachio himself.
"Hey, man, what the fuck are you thinking about here?"
He came to our fucking combat outpost when I was in Iraq, and they were trying to wake people up. They had to make people get up and go talk to him.
No way.
Yeah. It was like, no one cares about Geraldo, dude. What the fuck? What are we going to do? Fucking watch him play with his mustache all afternoon? No, want to sleep. So after that news came out yesterday, the stock market recovered all the losses from the previous day and a half or so.
Yep.
And it's on the uptick again. But look, it's at 26.5 right now. Peak high, I believe, is 29.5. It's been fluctuating lately. That always happens before an election.
Yeah. And a lot of people are saying wait till Wednesday. Is if Trump wins, the stock market will go through the roof on Wednesday.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I would say if you get an indication late Tuesday that it looks like Trump's definitely going to win, put every fucking dime you have in the stock market.
Well, look, I would say the actual indication of whether or not he's going to win is how the Dow is reacting that day.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
If it is up. Because like it or not, the stock market predicts a lot of shit.
Right.
If it is up that day, and it typically closes at 4, they don't close it early for the election, do they? I doubt it.
No.
Typically closes at 4. Look for those numbers right around that 350 range, heading into 4, and see where it's at, and then you'll probably have a pretty good idea. Now, if it's sitting even, who knows, man? It's anybody's ball game. If it's in the red, it's probably Biden. You know, they're thinking Biden. But if it's green, brother, go ahead and hit that fucking... Start buying shit, dude, because Wednesday is going to be a fun fucking day. We already think it is anyways. We put our money where our mouth is on my bookies.
I put my mouth where my money is sometimes, too.
Where is your money?
Wherever I want it.
Okay. You ever stuff it in an asshole? Stuff a dollar bill in an asshole?
I've not done that, no.
Okay. Well,
no.
I've done that plenty of times and watched her walk around with it.
Yeah,
that seems unnecessary.
Same. It's Halloween.
Damn. Oh, I don't like strip clubs. It's pointless.
You know, it's fun. I've never been a fan either of strip clubs. I always was a firm believer that you could just roll down to Saddle Ranch, get a half carafe of Long Island iced tea, because that's got everything in it. And if you have a decent enough game, you can walk out of there with anyone. Versus sitting in front of a stripper and then just, stuffing shit in her, and she's just like, "Thanks, hon. You want another dance? You want another dance?"
There's nothing I love more than being called baby over and over by some stranger.
Yeah, or hun.
So I'm not going to say the NCAA allows you per diem when you have recruits in.
They
that
do.
You cannot get into bars. And I'm not going to say that $60 a day can go a long way in a strip club and or getting a high school recruit to sign for that university. I'm not going to say these things happen at universities all around the country, but
they definitely happen.
I'm going to say I watched a girl take $5 bills off my nose with her butthole on many occasion and enjoyed it thoroughly.
And you got pink eye, didn't you?
No, actually, I was clean on that.
Okay.
Super surprising. I don't know if this is like pre-COVID. They wiped a little better.
Hey, man. I'm
TP wasn't in shortage, so, they could really get up in
You
that.
bet. At Ohio State, there was a place where it was BYOB, so you could bring your own booze. That place boomed because it was like, typically you're getting some watered-down drink. It's a 2-drink minimum, blah, 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 right? People were just rolling up. I'm talking like...
Bottles of roofies.
No. Do you remember those coolers that are on wheels?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
With speakers in them?
Yeah. So they would roll up. I mean, you would hear it rolling into the thing. And you were like, yeah. Dan and I did a live show from Bucks Wild Strip Club in Houston, Texas, in the middle of that. And I will say that night in particular, if you were going to a strip club, well worth your time and money.
Over under fake Dan, strip club or no strip club?
Him?
Yeah.
No strip club.
No.
Dan, fake Dan is an analytics guy.
Yeah.
You see, people like that see through the matrix code. You can't lie to me to my face.
Yep.
You're not smart enough to do that.
Your stripper magic has no power.
Yeah.
See,
here.
that's why I'm a big Daryl Morey guy now with the Sixers. Very happy.
He does have a blind spot into the entire city of Philadelphia and their sports teams. I'll say that.
Now we're all a fan of twerking though.
No.
No, dude.
What is the
just
point
none
of all that?
Just
None
me?
of it.
All right, fine.
Giorgio, you're
Done.
a fucking
God,
dirtbag.
what is wrong with you?
An absolute dirtbag.
Why does your hair keep getting wider? It's not even getting taller. It's getting wider.
I
how
like
he
it.
styles
Son
it.
of a bitch.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. By the way, if you're in town for the election, obviously our huge election show is on Tuesday. It is free. Just get there early. It's at Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. We're going to go live right around 6, but try to get there around the 4-ish range. If you're in town on Sunday nights, we're going to get together and watch. I can't believe it's the fucking Eagles game.
I can't believe
Cowboys.
it's not
It's a
butter.
terrible game, but
Fly Eagles fly, baby.
yeah. Look, if you're here and you want to pregame with us, we will be at Loro in Austin, and we'll be having some drinks, watching the game, and betting on 2 of the worst football teams that are in the NFL this year.
Yeah, congratulations.
So come on out for that. Next up, there was another knife attack in Paris. Guns are bad, Dan. Guns are bad, but knives are okay, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get those outlawed too, but I need to cut things, so it's
It's hard.
Sophie's choice.
Yeah.
Real Sophie's choice. Sophie was a woman who had a knife and a gun, and she needed to open a package, and she shot it and then went to jail for it. I don't know. A lot of people don't know that story.
No, they don't. They don't, but they do now.
Yeah.
For the second time in 2 weeks, people have been beheaded in France by Muslim extremists. I love those guys.
Yeah.
They're consistent. I will say that. The first attack on October 16th led to a teacher who showed his class caricatures of the illiterate child rapist Mohammed. I'm not going to call him a prophet, obviously, but everybody else is. Being beheaded. Yesterday in Nice, 3 people were killed in a knife attack in France that included 2 people nearly beheaded, including an elderly man. Interestingly, French President Emmanuel Macron used a phrase you don't hear much from Europe or American left anymore, calling the event an Islamic terrorist attack.
Yeah, do you remember when there was a controversy where Obama would just not say that?
Yeah.
It's kind of like
He
how
refused to say
Biden won't say that he's not going to pack the courts, and Obama would not call it, like he wouldn't say it's an Islamic terrorist attack. Like, why?
Yeah.
It's just words describing the situation because of their religion and the culture around it and their particular views on that and their political views based on that. They committed an act of terrorism. That is just merely descriptive. It's not to say that all Muslims are terrorists.
Right.
Dude, goddamn. I mean, what the fuck is it? What are we doing here? Like, if somebody does something for some reason and you're not allowed to bring up the reason.
Right.
Some people did some things. We don't know why.
Yeah.
We don't even know who they were. Well, yeah, we do. But we know exactly why because they wrote a letter.
Yeah. They're extremists.
Shit.
And that's what that is,
Yeah,
right?
it's stupid.
And yes, not all Muslims are terrorists.
I
mean,
yeah.
shit. Although everybody wants to paint you as that, fuck, man, that Khabib thing, when we were doing the Khabib fight last week, and I told you I get those fucking messages of like, dude, you hate Khabib because he's Muslim. I had no fucking idea he was Muslim. I don't even give a shit about that. He's boring to watch.
Yeah.
That's where trolls on the internet take things too far.
Yeah.
I
Trolling
guess-
becomes your identity.
But it's like, man, I'm looking at it from a pure fighting perspective. I don't give a fuck what your religion is.
Yeah.
Shit, dude. I just want to see exciting fights and all that shit.
Yep.
By the way, I meant to tell you, your boy Andrew Schultz said that Khabib retiring saved the UFC.
He did. He had a really nice combo
did.
about that. Yeah.
I,
He also said Alex Jones killed free speech.
Did he really? I
Yeah,
didn't
it's
see
a
that.
good little segment. You should watch from-
I'll pop up the rest of it. But France has added 4,000 additional troops that are now being deployed to churches and schools for protection 2 weeks after security was tightened up from the previous beheading. I don't know. Look, I haven't been to France in a long time, probably 10 years at this point. I'm not really sure how much immigration or what they've shipped in that caused all this, but France never used to be like this.
No. France was mostly like organized crime.
Yeah.
There wasn't. There was no. There was a lot of street. I mean, there's a lot of petty theft there, a lot of sex trafficking there, a lot of organized crime there, but not like terrorist stuff, obviously.
Right. Right.
It was a relatively homogenous area for a long time. In this case, the second attack where 2 people got beheaded, French police shot a suspect and he's in custody now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's what's his name? He's a Tunisian national named blah 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 blah. Brahim, and I have no idea how to say his last name. Don't give a shit. Apparently, he had a document issued by the Italian Red Cross to get into the country.
Great.
So that's great. So now what will happen is the French government will launch an investigation into anybody that received that type of entry and from any known terrorist country or terrorist supporting country, and all those people are going to get harassed now.
Yeah.
Because that's how it is.
It's going to be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
There's a chapter where he goes to France, and oh, by the way, the new book is out. As the sun rises, it dawns on him. You can pre-order it now, hardback, an ebook, and all that shit on Amazon.com. The new St. James Street James book is out. There's a chapter in there on France and how great France is. I personally, it is one of my favorite countries. I don't know if you've been there. Mm-hmm. Really, really enjoy France. I fucking hate reading about shit like this.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, I do like hearing. I'm not a fan of aggressive rhetoric because I think it distracts from points a lot. Mm-hmm. But we've come to this position now where you make a point and somebody refers to it as aggressive rhetoric. That's not true. You having a problem with what I'm saying does not make what I'm saying aggressive. It's merely descriptive, right? Mm-hmm. The mayor of Nice, Christian Estrosi, I guess is how you say that, spoke of Islamofascism and said the suspect had repeated endlessly Allah Akbar or whatever the fuck they say. Right. It's interesting to hear, again, European politicians using these phrases because they were kind of off limits for a long time, mm-hmm. right? Germany wouldn't say it. France wouldn't say it. It's made a comeback in the UK a little bit, but not in London because the mayor is a goddamn Muslim, right? Not that I have a problem with that necessarily, but if your being Muslim affects the way you run your country, then that's a problem.
Yeah, so, man.
And it clearly does because they have autonomous zones. You think fucking Chaz Chop was bad. There are autonomous zones all over London where, there is some level of Sharia law being enforced and the police will not go in and deal with it because they don't want to, basically. Right. I don't know if the mayor is ordering them not to or if they're just like, fuck this. It's one of the two. I
don't know, but I know this. Friends of mine who go to London a lot are just like, man, that city's changed. Mm-hmm. Like, and it fucking sucks because of all this bullshit. Like, I don't want to see the same thing happen to France.
No, I'm all set on that.
Same, man. I'm sure Germany will go through it at some point. I mean, fuck. What is it, 1 million in there?
I don't know, but Germany has been... I think they feel like they still feel some national guilt because of their history. And there's some...
What happened?
I don't remember. Who remembers? So long ago. They seem to have this proclivity to go a little bit over the edge right now, like banning words, the word Nazi.
Yeah.
Say that, you get fined.
Right.
If you speak in support of it, you go to jail. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we need to be able to identify assholes. I don't want my assholes flying under the radar. I want them wearing a shirt that says "fuck black people." That's what I want.
Yeah, you want them out in plain sight
because then I can look at that guy and be like, I never have to listen to anything that person says ever again.
Yeah,
good. That's one more.
Yeah,
off the list.
Get him out of there.
Yeah, you should really just have to. There's an interesting quote from back in the day. If all the things you've ever said were tattooed on your skin, mm-hmm. would you have said them? You know what I mean? I think that's a really interesting premise to think about. Because we do say a lot of fucked up shit.
Yeah. I mean, I described a woman's vagina in the new book as a pork chop piss flap. So can't imagine where that would be tattooed on me. But I wouldn't like it, Dan.
Probably right under the eye.
Under the eye? Yeah. Post Malone style. Mm-hmm. Pork chop piss flaps. Right underneath both eyes.
Maybe that's the next beer pong bet. Instead of $20K, it's like we get to pick the other guy's tattoo.
Oh, shit. Dude, we thought about that, actually.
Yeah.
You got a SoundCloud rap album coming out?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I release my rap albums like out into the world.
Okay. I mean,
I have a bevy of hits, Giorgio.
Let's get you back in the booth, man. If you're getting face tats,
everybody asks for those.
That's
videos.
the danger. You can't take that bet.
No,
because Posty is immediately going to go to a face or head tattoo or neck tattoo of some sort.
Easily. Yeah.
Yep.
I thought about it with him. Was once that number approached $20,000 when I played him in beer pong, I thought about switching it to some form of tattoo, and that's exactly where my mind went. Of like, no, he's gonna go face or neck, and you can't do that unless you're Post Malone, you're super famous and rich. Like,
or you're Ross and you just have hot hands and just sinking them. It's a sure thing.
The hand is gonna cool down eventually, and then I don't want to end up with pork chop piss flaps tattooed underneath my eyes.
Me and Fake Dan think you should take this.
Yeah, there's no way you lose. No chance.
I don't think so either, but whatever.
You're too good at beer pong.
Such is life.
There's an epic rimming of it at the very end.
I know.
You're on the right track. You can definitely use his ego against him.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
it will work.
Yeah,
over
it'll
time.
always work.
Don't let him pick up on that.
No, over time. Well, I just said it
always
out
work.
loud.
It will always work, and I know that. But it also makes me compete harder, which makes me one of the greatest. Speaking of the greatest, one of our next sponsors is one of the greatest. Harry's is on here. I can't believe they signed on after all this, especially that's that last segment. Real nice lead into our brand new product.
They haven't heard it yet, so we'll see how it goes from here.
Harry's Razors is super fucking famous, and the fact that they're on this show after this conversation is amazing. But they probably won't be after this. Look, you've seen them online everywhere. Harry's, they're the two buddies. It was founded by. We tried to get one of them on the show after we talked to him. We were like,
we will, yeah.
Yeah, they were
Eventually.
really cool, and it was us and two bears in one cave. We were on that call together. But Bert and Tom were not on the call.
No, of course not.
But their people were, and we were on the call because we're fucking Americans, dude. They got newer, sharper blades. Look, they're delivering to your house the best blades at a very, very cheap cost. When we were on that call, I think they said $3. Do I?
Yeah, it's so if you go to harrys.com/Drinkin Bros, you get all this stuff for $3, and I'll read off.
And there, and if you want to get blades, they'll go to you at $2 a refill. That's correct.
It's 5. You get a 5-blade razor.
Yeah.
Weighted ergonomic handle, so a nice handle, shave gel, and a travel cover for $3, so you can try it.
Correct. And all the listeners of our show, and that's U.S. customers, by the way, so I want to preface that. Like, don't hit us up from Germany and say, I can't say the word Nazi. Now I want a razor shipped to myself, just in case things get weird. All new U.S. customers can redeem a Harry's trial set at harrys.com. That's HARRYS.com/Drinkin Bros for $3.
And that's $100 back money, or 100% money back guarantee and all their shit too.
Correct.
Just from a marketing perspective, when people use gimmicks a lot to try to get you to buy their shit, right? They usually don't work because a gimmick will get you one purchase, but it won't create a customer. It'll create a purchaser, but not a customer. You want to create customers. So if you really believe your product is better than everybody else's, you'll basically give it away.
Which is what they're doing, It's $3. So you'll get a 5-blade razor featuring their new sharper blades, a weighted ergonomic handle, foaming shave gel with aloe, and a travel cover to protect your blade when you're on the go. Just go to harrys.com/Drinkin Bros and redeem your trial offer today. $3. That's it. Look, if they didn't believe in that shit, they wouldn't be giving it away for fucking $3.
No, that would be, for a company that's been around that long, that would be a failed business by now if that was their strategy. So clearly that's not the case.
Next up, there's some new COVID requirements in place for New Jersey businesses. This is happening in a lot of places.
Speaking of that, we're going to have on Monday, Sunday night at 8 p.m., Ian Smith from whatever the fucking name of his gym is. I can't remember.
You'll know him from the news. He was the guy that was arrested at his gym, pinned up against the outside of the door for trying to reopen. And he's been getting fined every single day.
$15,000 a day.
$15,000 a day from the state of New Jersey for trying to open up his gym to people. He's going to be on the show Sunday night at 8 o'clock.
Right.
We recorded with him, but some of the measures that New Jersey is enacting are reasonable.
Yeah.
Employees are provided with masks. They will have their temperatures checked. A lot of people are doing that right now.
Yeah, although we just discovered recently that the temperature thing isn't 100%.
No.
Like a lot of people are asymptomatic carriers without temperature, but even people who are symptomatic sometimes aren't having fevers and shit. I read that yesterday. So, nothing is 100%. And that's why, and they also notify employees of potential exposure, shit like that. Those are all reasonable things to do. Mm-hmm. Give everybody the tools, like the reasonable tools to continue moving our economy forward. without putting yourself at any unnecessary risk. That is a reasonable thing to do,
Right.
I would say. As usual, they've gone too far with this. Right? It's New Jersey.
And they always do.
That their entire government, from the state level all the way down up there, is completely corrupt. Hoboken's now issued an emergency ordinance that allows the city to fine people $1,000 for hosting a party or event with more than 25 people. Now, I want to call your attention back to September 14th when a federal court in Pennsylvania ruled that this kind of shit is unconstitutional.
Right.
Right? And Hoboken decided to do it anyways, even after a federal court said it's unconstitutional.
Mm-hmm.
That means they don't give a fuck.
No.
I'm surprised. I will be surprised if nobody sues the city for an injunction until this other case goes to a higher court, because you can't just do that. You know, I mean, you can, but there's consequences, right?
Correct. And the reason why it's Hoboken, look, having lived in New York, if you can't afford to live in New York City, typically you live in Hoboken and you take the ferry over. Even Hoboken, though, is a little pricey to me these days, but shit. To each his own. To work in the city of New York is still a dream for a lot of people. Probably not anymore after COVID. But this is going to keep happening. The guest we have on Sunday night will go through a step-by-step process of what it's like when you're trying to reopen your business, and the government does not want you to. I don't know how people are going to live, and to me, this election on Tuesday, I think it's going to come down to a lot of people either voting to keep our country open or voting to mask up and end it all.
I understand people have a recency bias, right? They think that this unrest that's going on right now is somehow worse than it's ever been, and it's just not true. It's a recency bias that you're applying to that. That is simply not true. You think the climate is worse now than the 79 gas shortage? You think it's worse now than Brown versus the Board of Education in the next 9 months after that,
right,
where the fucking National Guard was having to escort black people into universities and shit? No, of course not. This is ridiculous to even claim. It's absolute nonsense. So
remember Kent State in the 60s.
Kent State, all these things have happened, and fucking riots in LA and like, it's just simply not true to say that it's America's in the worst shape it's ever been, man.
No,
it's the worst. No, it's just not true. And if for the last century, the most accurate predictor of an election is the economy, and the economy is good, then I don't understand why these people on the left have become so emboldened. Honestly, I don't know if they're like just trying to flex, like they're holding their abs.
I don't think
they're
so.
holding in their abs right now for a while. A hot girl walks by, the hot girl being the voter,
right?
And then as soon their butthole is going to blow out. Though that's the problem. They didn't do enough crunches,
and now they're prolapse anus.
Yeah, now their rectal integrity is in question.
Yeah. Me personally, I don't think it's a flex. I genuinely think they think they're going to win, and therefore it's like telling a boss to fuck off when you've already got another job, or you're just like, well, I got another job, so fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck everybody here. Fuck you, Brian. Don't fuck with my shit, Brian. I never liked your ass. And then boom, you leave and you go to your new job. I don't think there's going to be a new job on Tuesday, but that's just my prediction. We'll see.
There was another interesting thing, actually. Jersey City Mayor Steve Fulop, maybe, might be the first Democrat I've heard have the temerity to make this point when he said, we have more info today, and I don't see how a quick curfew because of a spike will help us, as it isn't as if you can only get COVID at night. Yeah. Like the idea, even here, Governor fucking fuckface wheelchair is still shutting down bars until 11:30 and shit like that, right? Like after 11:30, what happens? Where's the data to make that happen?
Well, the COVID leaves, It's so fucking dumb, dude.
I don't get it, man. I mean,
COVID gets sleepy.
By the way, where did the number 25 come from? From Hoboken. No more than 25 people. No more than 10. It's always multiples of 5.
Yeah.
It's made up. If it was a specific number, the speed limit would be 67.5 miles per hour.
Right.
It wouldn't be 65. It wouldn't be 70. They just chose these numbers randomly. This is not fucking random. It's a virus, dude. Like you should know exactly how many people should be in a room if this science is true.
Yeah, and look, New York City is telling people not to leave the city for Thanksgiving. They don't want people coming into the city as well, and they're encouraging New Yorkers not to go to the tri-state area of New Jersey or Pennsylvania, because they believe everybody's going to get COVID with their relatives and all that other shit. L.A.
I mean, it's not as bad as
the Christmas in L.A.
It's not as bad as that's California at all, like entirely. All of California.
Oh, it's all of California.
Yeah,
That's
Governor
great.
Newsom is the one that signed that executive order.
That's the best, isn't it?
You can't have more than 3 households represented in your house, which means if you're a parent of 3 children, and you can only have 2 of them over unless 2 of them live together somehow.
Yeah.
Right. You can't have them all 3 at the same time. You got to do all of your events outdoors, which should be really nice for the people up north.
Yeah. Northern California is super warm right around that time of year.
Yeah. That'll be fun. But this is the same guy that said, put your mask back on in between bites of food. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
No.
Honestly, what are you talking about? Is this what if this is the life that it requires for me maybe to get kind of sick and not be able to taste shit and a bunch of old people to die, fine with that. I'm going to chew with my mouth open from now on and be a jerk about it, because this is what happens. People escalate things when you try to take their liberty away.
Yeah.
They're like, no. For a long time, they're just like, no, come on, man, shut up, no. Then when they actually feel like they have to do something, it seems like it's out of nowhere. It seems like, oh, these violent fucking blah, blah, blah. No, dude, you've been fucking poking these people with a stick for a long time. You've been taking their money and not giving them shit. You've been lying to them. And now they're not happy when you actually try to take away their business. You can take a lot of stuff from people. You know what I mean? You can take a lot. You can take their taxes. You can spend it on stupid bullshit. You can do a lot of stuff, and it's going to irritate the fuck out of a lot of people. When you start coming to take people's property and their business, that is when guns come out.
Yep. And
that's just how it is.
I have a feeling some are going to come out next week.
We'll see.
We will see.
I hope not.
Me neither. Next up, we got Zebbits. .com / Drinkin Bros. Another new one, but a great one, man. It's the holiday season. Everybody's buying gifts and all that shit. Zebbit, Zebit, allows you to buy shit. It's kind of like layaway, except you actually get the gifts in.
Yep.
You can get anything from TVs, Xboxes, cookware, tools, furniture, gift cards. Let's say you got a dirtbag cousin in Jersey, slide him a little Olive Garden gift card.
Right.
So he doesn't shank you at the next family reunion once this is all over, right?
Well, he might, but you'll at least be the last one to get shanked.
Yeah, you're fine. By the way, if anybody out there is going to get me some Olive Garden salad dressing for Christmas, I would really love it. It's my favorite. It's my favorite salad dressing.
Which salad dressing? What are you talking about?
Olive Garden's only got one salad dressing.
No, they don't.
Yes, it's the Italian. It is they make it in house. It's got a little hook handle on it too. Look, I'm a gigantic fan.
What do you mean a hook handle? Like a fucking?
It's glass. Yep, you can put one index finger in it.
Like maple syrup or some shit?
Yes. That's how great that goddamn salad dressing is.
It's not great.
With a wooden cork on the end of it?
There's no wooden cork. It's a cap. But you can get it at Costco or Sam's Club or whatever. Look, you can go to Zebbits.com and get me some Olive Garden dressing today.
I doubt they have that on there.
Put it on layaway, dude.
They do have like Samsung TVs and shit.
They do, but
you know what I mean?
If they have an Olive Garden gift card on there, pop on over for the big guy. I still love it. We're new to Austin. Fake Dan, is there an Olive Garden in this town?
I think there's several.
Great.
Yeah.
Go get gift cards. Get whatever you want. And they're not going to pull your FICO score or any of that. There's no cost to join, no hidden fees, no gotchas, nothing like that at all. Flexible payments and everything else. Go to Zebbit.com / Drinkin Bros today, and you get up to $2,500 of credit to shop the Zebbit marketplace. It's one of those things that I feel like Nick Lachey did it or something like, dude, now this thing's blowing up. Zebit.com / Drinkin Bros. Get up to $2,500 of credits at Zebbit.com / Drinkin Bros. Olive Garden gift cards that's all I want in this world.
Oh, man.
That's all I want in this world. Next up, Walmart is preparing for the apocalypse. That's where I got my first Olive Garden gift card in this world. Yeah, I got it from my parents.
No, wait, you got it from your parents?
No, I got it for them. For them, yeah, for Christmas. There's a huge section at Walmart full of gift cards. Walmart is concerned with the safety in its stores and clearly anticipating civil unrest after the election results. So they've temporarily suspended in-store sales of guns and ammunition. Ammunition's already been sold out. So
yeah,
thanks, Walmart. You're not doing us dick with that. Walmart suggested that it was worried about the theft of weapons and ammunition that may be used to target the community. The store, which sells firearms in about half of its 4,700 U.S. locations, said customers can still purchase guns and ammo upon request, even though they are no longer on display. They said, we've seen some isolated civil unrest, and as we have done on several occasions over the last few years, we have moved our firearms and ammunition off the sales floor as a precaution for the safety of our associates and customers, a Walmart spokesman said. The company hasn't decided how long the items will stay out of view. I would imagine until there's a winner of the election.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, look, they removed firearms and ammo from all the stores over the summer after the George Floyd thing started for a while. I don't know when it came back. But again, they're still in the store.
Yeah,
they're just in the back. So
they're in the back. It's kind of like a speakeasy. Oh, you got to treat these Walmart employees like a speakeasy, where it's just like, hey, Ron, just go to the back, dude. I know you got them in the back. Once you bag it up, once you gift wrapped it, and pretend it's a Christmas item, and then I can get it out of here.
I think they should just arm all the employees and see what happens.
So do I.
I mean, that would be literally put cameras up, because that would be The Walking Dead right there.
Yeah.
All the zombies that already are in Walmart, plus dum-dums coming to protest.
Be great.
Like, it'll be the biggest collection of weirdos in history, and they're all like just tearing each other apart.
The weirdest thing is, for me personally, I trust Walmart employees with guns on them.
Yeah, absolutely not.
They seem very trustworthy.
No.
And I have a feeling they're all trained, and I think that would go fine. You know, just give everybody who works in Walmart a pistol.
I think we give each one of
holster.
them a 2x4 with 6 nails nailed through it.
Oh, I like that. It's like you're talking about some old school spike bat type shits. I like that a lot. Put the nuts up on the dresser.
What do you think? What do you think about
like,
this?
Wow.
What do you think about this? I mean, I wonder if some of this is just cover your ass stuff. I always wonder when major companies make a policy move like that, if they've gotten some kind of indication of how things are going to go. You know what I mean?
Look, we talked about it earlier, man.
Yeah.
I wonder, because it's like, shit, man. How would they get the internal polls? And why does Trump feel so comfortable? You and I know for a fact that he skipped campaigning to do something else the other day, and it was just like, hey, man.
He skipped campaigning yesterday to go hang out with members of the U.S. military.
Correct.
I cannot say who, where, when, whatever, but that is what he did yesterday instead of campaigning.
And we have verification of that and all of that stuff. And, you know, he obviously feels comfortable enough, you know. Meanwhile, Biden's speaking about 12 people in Indiana right now, so... I don't know. It would shock me if they didn't get the heads up on this shit.
I would definitely be shocked. I mean, how many fucking people inside the government are on the board of Walmart or in some way connected to them?
Yeah,
like
dude.
Lobbyists and all this other stuff. It's like that. I can't remember the guy's name, but there's a super anti-environmentalist dude, older man. He's an investor. I think he may be Latino. I don't remember exactly where he's from, but he gets in arguments with kids on college campuses and economics conferences all the time. And they're like, oh, the fucking climate's going to just be destroyed and blah, blah, blah. Like, look, the theory was by 2020, the beaches in America would be eroded. We would have lost like 2 million people, not actual human beings, but 2 million people would have to move or something like that. That never happened. Right. So this guy's point was, Dan Pena, that's it. Yeah, this guy's point was, I'm the guy that's investing in all these companies. If banks are still underwriting loans for properties on these coastlines, I promise you they're not going anywhere, because banks aren't going to fucking let that happen. What would happen with you and Sandy, you just lose that property, but the bank also loses its money too, right?
Yeah.
In all those cases, the banks don't lose money.
No.
They are not in the business of losing money. They're in the business of holding on to your money, investing it, and turning it into more money, and then giving you back some of your money. Yeah. Right? That's what they do. They are not bad at it either. So that's a good point. I think it's a good point. So when I see major companies like Walmart shifting to stuff like this, sure, there's a pretty good chance that it's just hedging.
Right.
But it does make you wonder if they know something.
Yeah, if they got the heads up about this shit. Or you could look at it the other way of like they're worried that Trump people are going to go in and fucking.
This is not true though, because
I agree.
Nobody ever does that.
No.
When's the last goddamn conservative riot? I'm not talking about a protest or where some people get violent or when a group of assholes goes out and tries to start a fight at a counter protest. I'm talking about a protest specifically organized by Republicans or conservatives that turns into a riot. When has that happened?
Yeah.
The Whiskey Rebellion?
Okay, well,
when was that?
In the last goddamn
1920s?
1,000 years.
Yeah.
I think everybody protested that, not just. Actually, yeah, Republicans would have been protesting that.
Yeah, I mean, look, if Biden wins, we'll go to work the next day the same as always. Who fucking knows, man? I don't know. Next up, though, we got boxofawesome.com. You're not going to get any ammunition from boxofawesome.com, although that would be rad. But you will get some hatchets. They got everything there. Whiskey decanters, you name it. You go on the website, go to boxofawesome.com. You check a little survey. It's 5 questions. They determine what type of man you are, and then each month they send you surprise items of that manhood that they think that you have or don't have. I've gotten DOP kits, I've gotten travel bags, I've gotten whiskey decanters, hatchets, meat cleavers.
Got a nice leather belt.
Yeah, I got a nice leathery poon. Sorry, that was for Giorgio.
You didn't share?
Yep, did not.
Okay. Well, see how it is?
It's awesome, man. Your wife's getting bullshit sent to her all the time. Jessie got some box today in the mailbox, and she was just like, why do you always get a box of awesome? I was like, you getting your fucking monthly bullshit? Like makeup or lipstick or whatever it is? Like, you know? It's like, it's always a color she'll never wear. It's like rainbow and fucking, you know, it's got a whale's mouth on it. I'm like, dude, we're not doing that.
How do you do that exactly?
We're not children. They carve out the heads of those little lipsticks into animal figures. And that's a fun, flirty thing.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Isn't the point of the goddamn lipstick to make it go smoothly across your lips?
No. It's to kiss a whale.
But if you buy these, $5 goes to the Save a Whale Foundation.
Yeah. They keep the whales wet is what they do. That's my organization.
Oh, I thought
keep
Ross
the
did
whales
that.
wet. I can do that mentally, but physically they actually require ocean water. Turns out I was wrong.
I thought whales was a euphemism.
Whales are mammals.
Yeah.
So they don't actually necessarily. I mean, they do need water, but they can breathe. They breathe oxygen. So,
obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, but they still need water to keep.
Why don't we just need to get all these whales on flatbed trucks driving around town?
Sure do.
Like why not?
Why not,
dude? I mean,
pull up in a town with a whale.
If you leave them on land long enough, they'll grow legs.
Go to Box of Awesome.
Oh, I forgot we were doing an ad read.
.com today, and they'll send you a whale with legs. Just 4 legs, man. It'll just be running through your house. You won't think anything of it until your cupboard is all empty.
What if you had a whale that was the size of like one of my dogs, like a Boston Terrier size, but it's a whale?
Great, I'd buy
and
that
he's
in a
just
second.
like, but he's
a
still got
miniature whale.
He's still got legs.
Yeah,
A potbelly whale?
potbelly whale.
whale,
I'd
yeah.
buy the shit out of the thing.
Potbelly whale. Is this turning into human dog again?
Boxofawesome.com. Promo code is Drinkin Bros for 20% off there. You are welcome. One pollster is calling out the entire industry. Jim Lee, a pollster with the Susquehanna polling and research. Am I saying that correctly? Is that an Indian tribe?
That looks about right. Yeah,
All
sure.
right. Susquehanna, Moana. Polling and research slammed his peers in the polling industry for promoting polling data that he said is egregiously off.
Egregiously off.
Yeah, you bet. And a form of voter suppression. Lee predicted that if the turnout for 2020 is what he thinks it will be, President Donald J. Trump will win another term in the White House, a prediction hardly echoed by his peers in the polling industry. Invoking the now infamous shy Trump voter, which I hate that phrase. I'm P-shy. I'm a shy Trump voter. Like, I don't call it that.
I would say
The silent majority I'm fine with. Let's not call it a shy. I'm shy.
Why did we need to come up with a new name for silent majority fucking 50 years later?
I don't know. I'm a shy
Because
Trump
it's
voter.
Trump. We just have to come up with new language to describe it.
Shh, I'm shy.
Because they don't want to use the word majority.
Yeah.
The media doesn't want to use the word majority. That's why. Because if you say the silent majority, it makes it seem like Trump has the majority of support in the country.
Correct. And I will say this. There is one more guy that has been out there hammering away who is also predicting Trump to win, but he's based on economy. And then he's also doing some social media experiments. He got 2016 right as well. And he goes, their firm combs through social media data to determine the the favorability amongst like real people and what they're actually talking about and whether or not they like him. We'll see. At this point, man, I'm done with the polls. I know we've done a bunch of shows on it and everything, and obviously we'll talk about it Monday and Tuesday, but it would be nice if they were wrong, so that way we could go to some other system or just stop believing in these people altogether, because that'll be 2 in a row at that point, and it's too late to go back. The fake news, that rally cry will only increase if they are wrong again, and the media will truly be our biggest enemy.
Yeah.
It
already is.
I agree that it is now, but if they are wrong on Tuesday, there should be no doubt amongst anybody on either side whether or not the media is our own biggest enemy at this point.
Yeah. So this guy, Jim Lee, he repeatedly gets referred to as an outlier poll by whomever. It's kind of the same way that Nate Silver reacts to the Rasmussen stuff.
Right.
And this is what he had to say about being called an outlier. He says, when a poll comes out with one candidate, in this case Hillary Clinton, winning by 11 points, and when the winner of the race is the other candidate, that is not an outlier. That is bad polling, and it makes our entire industry look bad. He believes that this is some kind of sophisticated form of voter suppression designed to keep Republicans and other Trump supporters from going to vote. That's what he thinks. I think that might be a stretch. Honestly, I think it's more like, if it is their intent, then that's going to backfire horribly first. I think it's honestly just cognitive dissonance. People want to believe, like these people want to believe so badly that this is going to be true, that they've suspended their disbelief. Like all the fucking markers are there. It's like when you're, I don't know, in a relationship, you don't see when there are problems, or you don't notice that your car is acting a little weird or something like that, and all of a sudden it breaks down. Like, oh, I should have seen this coming. I should have seen this coming. I should have seen this coming. That's what the Democratic mantra should have been in 2016 instead of impeachment. That's what they should have been saying, and they would be in a lot different position today than they are right now. As a matter of fact, AOC would not have been reelected. All these other things, actually, she may not have been elected in the first place.
Right.
So it'll be really interesting to see after this, after the results of this election come in, provided it does go for Trump like we think it's going to, what the reaction is then. Is the reaction at that point, if you lose, and I really want to hear from people on the left about this. If you lose, is your reaction going to be to dig in harder? Or is it going to be to reevaluate your positions? If the majority of America doesn't agree with you, you only have 2 options. One is to convince them to agree with you, and the other is to change your position, right? I don't see Democrats changing their position, but I also don't see a way where you're going to get Americans to willfully offer up 60% of their fucking money.
Right.
Or any of this other bullshit, right? Or accept socialism or any of this stuff. Like, it's just not going to happen.
No, I agree. I have a different theory on these polls, actually. I think with these polls, because all of the media is mostly based in New York and LA, you're in this bubble, in this fucking vacuum of the same people with the same ideals over and over and over again. And to them, to the people living in New York and LA that are controlling the media in Silicon Valley and all this shit, they cannot fathom a world in which people would actually go out and vote for Donald Trump.
Right.
They cannot believe it. So everything that they've read or hated or disliked over the last 4 years, and the riots and the protests, they view as a positive thing of like, oh, well, that must mean we're sick of this president. And I think that is what is affecting these numbers this time around as well. But I don't think it factors in real people, man. It just does not. Therefore, this is, I think, is going to be wrong. If not, man, everything I've been saying for like 2 months, everybody's going to be like, you're a fucking
No, I
asshole.
don't think so. I think Nate Silver got super lucky with the Obama thing.
I don't know that he got lucky. Like, even with Obama, I said that he was going to win.
No,
it wasn't that hard.
I think he got lucky insofar as the worldview of these people aligned with the actual reality, right?
Yes, the polls and everything else. Yeah.
Not that he got lucky in the data. He just applied the data correctly that time.
Right.
And he didn't this time. Or maybe the data he has is insufficient. I think it clearly is. I mean, he, amongst others, predicted an 11-point victory for Hillary Clinton, and that did not happen. That is a big gap.
Yeah.
It's a big gap.
Hillary's still at home for this one. I wonder where she'll be on election night.
She's actually casting a ballot. She's one of the electors from New York.
Really?
So technically speaking, she casts a ballot on behalf of the however many electoral votes New York State has. She casts one of them.
Serious question.
It's hilarious.
Do you think if you sat down with Hillary Clinton today in a room, no mics, no cameras, no nothing, and just asked her in a one-on-one conversation, do you actually think Joe Biden's going to win? I would be really curious to hear her honest and genuine answer if it was not going out to the world.
I wonder if Democrats, or not specifically Democrats, but the Democratic Party wins if Joe Biden wins. You know what I mean? Like, is that a win for you? And I actually said this to a lot of my...
That's a great question. I don't think it is.
I said this to a lot of my liberal friends in 2016. I'm like, I understand that you dislike Donald Trump, but was having Hillary Clinton in office a win for you? And they're like, well, I mean, yeah, I'm a Democrat. I'm like, no, a win for you, for the party, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Just because you win something. Like, yeah, you and I could get into a verbal altercation and I could win that fight by just laying you out with fucking really personal shit, but I've not won anything. I've fractured our relationship at that point. That's stupid. So there are ways to win and not win. I don't know that, I certainly don't think that having Hillary Clinton in office was even a possibility of being a win for them.
No, and it's interesting you say that. Like, thinking about it now, I think the biggest win for the Democrats would be for them to lose this. And the reason why is it would force them to get younger. I think the biggest problem they've had in the last two elections is you've had people that have been in politics for 50 fucking years apiece, right? With the Clintons and Biden and all that shit. I think you need to get rid of Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and start going younger. The only way that will force them to do that is by losing, because then you'll have to re-examine the whole party and get them out of there.
For sure, yeah. But I don't think they can afford to go younger. Honestly, I don't. I think if you see a young politician on the left, they are typically green, socialists, etc. One of those, some combination of that bullshit. When you see young politicians on the right, they're Matt Gaetz. They're people who are constitutionalists. You know what I mean? So the right's young crowd has, I guess, found the right direction for themselves in a way that's very palatable for most of America. You know what I mean? I feel like Matt Gaetz is a bad example of this because he talks so much shit. But if you took all the shit talking away from him and he was just calmly explaining his positions to anybody on any side of the aisle, I think they would be palatable in some way. They may have disagreements, but he's not a radical by any stretch of the imagination. However, all the young Democrats are fucking radicals. All of them.
Yeah.
Like literally all of them. So,
but if that's your party, though.
Yeah. If
that's your party, win.
What would be really interesting to me is if the Democrats lose and there is that final, I think that would be the straw that breaks the camel's back. I agree with you there. I think the result would be the Democratic Party would split into two separate parties. That's what I think.
Oof. Man, it's tough. I think to do that, you would lose the next election, guaranteed, because you wouldn't have enough people. And I don't think they're willing to do that. I think it'd almost be like the Republican sitch of, look, in 2016, none of the Republicans wanted Trump to win at all. Right. And they were like, get this fucking guy out of here. Once he was in and they didn't have a choice, the Republican Party made a conscious decision to be like, well, this is our guy, and we got to ride this fucking horse and find out where he places in the Derby. He placed in first, and they've been able to ride this wave for the last 4 years because he's done pretty goddamn good. But, man, I think on the next election, next go-round, if they were to lose on Tuesday, you almost have to see what the AOCs and all of them can do, and if they can actually win the House and maybe try to temper their fucking craziness down a little bit. But I think that's your only option at this point because, look, Pelosi is 80. Chuck Schumer is, 78?
Right.
Biden is 78. Clinton is 75. I don't know who's next on that. I mean, me personally, and it's not that I fucking hate Democrats or any of that shit, right? But like, I could stomach a Tulsi Gabbard in there, if forced to, right? I could stomach a couple of these guys over who the options have been the last 4 years.
Right.
I can't with these two. simply they've been in there for 1,000 years. But there is some people where you're like, all right, great. If you lose, you lose. Fuck it, you know?
I guess Tulsi is the one young Democrat.
But is she young? I don't even know how old she is.
She's probably 40.
39.
Oh, she's 39?
Yeah.
No shit.
So,
okay.
Relatively speaking, you know, in the political world, she's young.
But they hate her. I don't know why.
I don't either.
Yeah, you do. You know exactly why.
Yeah, because
hate her.
She took Kamala Harris.
You hate. Well, that's part of it. But they hate her for the same reason that a dog with its balls hates other dogs with their balls, because it's competition for pussy. You know what I mean? They hate her because they know that she is the embodiment of everything that was right with classical liberalism, and they are the kleptocracy version of it. They know that. They can see it. It's like it's like jealousy is part of it. Insecurity. When you see somebody that reminds you of the shit that's wrong with you, it makes you feel some kind of way. We often apply the things that are wrong with us, or we often attack that in other people because we're unhappy with ourselves about it. So that's why these old ass leftists feel the way they do, and to be honest, they're right to be scared. They're right to be scared because that younger generation is not great on their side.
Right.
And most of them.
No, they're crazy radicals because they all went to college, got degrees, and can't get jobs, and their
Right.
parents have to pay for everything still.
Yeah.
So they're smart enough to fucking organize their thoughts, but they don't have any life experience. That's a dangerous combination. You know what I mean? That's like giving somebody a tool that they don't know how to use, basically.
Yeah.
Like a gun, hammer, anything could go wrong with any of those things. So I think they're fucked. Honestly, I think if the Democratic Party loses this election, they are hopelessly fucked.
Because it will go to the AOCs and those guys, and like, look, you can see it. You can see the writing on the wall. She's prepping a
But
run.
they will become irrelevant on the national stage if that happens. They will lose the next election. I don't give a shit who the fuck runs on the Republican side. They will lose by 10 points if they come out with all that socialist bullshit.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
And I don't get it, man.
I don't either, but at what point do you not have a choice? And I think that's what's going to happen in 2024 if they lose. Now, if they don't, I think that gives them a life raft for another 4 years, and then find somebody else in there and maybe get Jill Biden or whoever the fuck it is in there. But look, we'll see on Tuesday. Next up, a cybersecurity expert has authenticated the New York Post smoking gun, that Hunter Biden email that's we've been talking about.
Oh, is that
for
the one
a
that
while now?
That's the one that Twitter and Facebook banned?
Correct. And that's Jack Dorsey got on the Senate hearing the other day and said that, we were incorrect about that. And they said, what did you do about it? And he goes, I don't know. We changed the policy. That was one of the creepiest fucking interviews I've ever seen, by the way, with Jack Dorsey. That guy scares the shit out of me that you're running a public utility, or what should be a public utility, and it's that guy. That's the guy that's censoring you. He looks like he's been in a fucking cave for 10 years.
He may have been, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
He's got a nose ring now, too, which is a nice thing.
That's cute. Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy, he's, like I said the other day on the show, when all this stuff starts to go wrong, it's that ruling class that gets fucking torn down first. You know what I mean? It's that scene in the Dark Knight Rises, I think it is.
Right.
Where Cillian Murphy's up on the stage and Bane's walking around, but he's just like calling all the leaders of the city and rich people up in front of him, like, guilty, get the fuck out. You're getting pretty close there, guy. I don't know what you think is going to stop that from happening. Honestly, if you're one of these rich tech billionaires, I wonder what they think is preventing, like, all these private security people that you hire and all this other stuff. People that have that kind of capability usually have experience, and usually that experience comes matched up with some deep-seated patriotism. That's the reason they learned how to do that shit in the first place. You know what I mean? So at what point do you think they're going to realize that you're fucking everybody over? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are things that are bigger than paychecks out there. And I had opportunities to work for a couple of those dicks back in the day. The only one I ever took was Musk. And I wasn't even on his detail. I was nearby on that. And I thought even back then, it was like 2013 or 14, I thought he was a good dude.
Elon Musk? Yeah.
But all the Google people, like, no, I'm good. Not working for those guys. You fucking kidding me?
We'll see what happens here. Look, the fucked up thing is this story went nowhere, to be honest with you. Looking back at it now, this Hunter Biden email shit went nowhere. It got no press besides Tucker Carlson, who, look, man.
Rogan talked about it.
Rogan talked about it, but look, it takes a couple people, like mainstream media, like New York Times and all that other shit. Nobody has covered this story. And I think Tucker Carlson's a smart guy and a good interviewer, but he really stepped on his dick this week when he said he lost the files that were sent over regarding the Hunter Biden shit from Tony Bobulinski. Bobulinski.
Yeah, he did step on his dick, but
you can't go on TV and say I misplaced the file or whatever. There's no way.
Wait, what the fuck? Tucker Carlson lost those files? So I'm just not hearing about this.
No, he didn't.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no, I'm dead. I'm dead ass. I was working late on shows last night.
No worries. Yeah. So he's
usually the dude. Like he's somewhat consistent. He just said he lost him.
Yeah, I'll read.
Call Giuliani. You have him on speed dial. What the fuck?
I'll read his exact quotes.
That's complete horseshit. If you can't get a hold of another copy of those.
Yeah. So this is terrible. So he explained how the UPS was missing the family documents. He said, we got our now he's saying we have our flash drive back, but we still have some questions. Allegedly, the UPS had this hard drive, this thumbnail or whatever, and a thumb drive, I'm sorry. And now that it's back, he told about I'll just read it verbatim here. He told about a pretty weird experience this week on Monday. He said one of the producers in New York overnighted a package to his executive producer in Los Angeles as they were preparing for the interview with Tony Bobulinski. Hey, Bobulinski. You know that guy's getting Olive Garden gift cards. Somewhere along the way, he says, the contents of that package disappeared. Inside was a flash drive that contained primary documents pertaining to the Biden family. Those documents did not come from Tony Bobulinski. And of course, we made copies of these files before we sent them because we're careful. Get a lot of documents, blah, blah, blah. We wanted to assess, and we're still assessing it. But the point is, what he's saying is that the package never arrived.
Yeah, I mean, this is just all horseshit.
The envelope, he says, was sealed. And UPS does not dispute that. And the package they say the package was accidentally torn open by a machine, and then they had to replace the package. So the thumb drive was in one package, and it showed up in a different package later than it should have. That is very fucking suspicious, right?
Yes, it is. But here's
if those facts are true, that is very fucking suspicious.
Here's my problem with it. Okay, whatever information you have on a thumb drive, you just pop that into the old Dropbox and
exactly. That's what to say.
Send it off
much faster.
No need to overnight that. Like Dropbox, if you have a business account, it's $9.99 a month. We have one here for the show.
I feel like Fox might be able to come up with something like that for Tucker.
Man,
Tucker simply doesn't have that.
No.
We've definitely had encrypted file transfer for some time now.
Yes. So I don't really understand that. And whenever you say shit like that, it ruins your credibility. And look, I like Tucker Carlson.
So did he just get on?
But this was a massive fucking
egg on his face.
Yes. And so
why did he bring it up?
I don't know. But he went on air. It was the last night or the night before. Was he trying to call out the UPS as tampering with it? No, I guess it was going to be some big reveal that I have it, and here it is. Yes, fair and balanced. Yeah.
Here's an interesting thing. So it seems like Carlson's now kind of easing back from Hunter Biden.
Correct.
So he says there are a lot of documents about Hunter Biden's personal life that we haven't brought to you, and we are not going to, and we will tell you why. Blah blah blah. Hunter Biden's not running for president, but he is a fallen man. I never thought Hunter Biden was a bad person. I thought he had demons, but in the time I knew him, he kept them mostly under control. At some point, he lost control of those demons, and the world knows that now. He's now humiliated and alone. Probably too strong to say we feel sorry for Hunter Biden, but the point is pounding on a man, jumping on and piling on when he's already down is something we don't want to be involved in.
Which I don't believe either.
No, I don't believe that. I believe somebody at Fox or somebody bigger than that has some kind of leverage over Tucker Carlson made him say that.
Yes, because
this is when you cannot trust the news.
This far with a story, and you don't have,
and then you slam the brakes on.
You don't have the fucking documents.
Bullshit.
And you say they were missing from an overnight package for a thumb drive. Man, we've done, between this and Ross Patterson Revolution, 1,600 episodes worth of podcasts.
Yeah.
We have lost exactly one show. Once. Like one time. Now, some others have been pulled for
various reasons.
Yeah. Some are even live in a vault that have not aired for various reasons because they would implicate people for a myriad of reasons. But we use Dropbox for all of this shit. The files are really, really large, and we have a backup of all of these shows in case we get ripped off the internet forever and we've got to go full Alex Jones or whatever. I do not believe that nobody at Fox, for Christ's sakes, couldn't have just plugged in a thumb drive and said, you know what, Tucker, what time are you going on air? Great. You'll have that in about 38 minutes, according to Dropbox.
Well, I mean, they still have the files. According to him, they're just not going to release them now because he doesn't want to pile on.
Well,
Tucker Carlson doesn't want to pile on.
That's not true. That is not. If anybody wants to pile on, it's Tucker Carlson. Because, look, this would have been a huge victory for him if he broke this story.
Yeah. It makes you wonder whether either he got the documents and they found out they weren't real, or somebody leveraged him. It's one of those two things.
Is Tucker compromised now? Is he compromised?
No, here's my real theory. So I have my own personal theory on this Tucker Carlson sitch. I think everything that was on his laptop and the shit we're seeing probably is real. Him getting his dick sucked, obviously. Like, I watched that sex tape with Hunter Biden. Yes, he's getting a foot job and getting his dick sucked and smoking crack the entire time, right? There was some other shit on there of him maybe having sex with the president's daughter, maybe not. Who knows? Either way.
Yeah, would we account on who that face down girl was?
Yeah, no, we haven't. And the face has been blurred out and all that shit. Doesn't matter. Hunter Biden likes to videotape himself having a lot of sex and doing crack and or cocaine, and that's fine. That's your own choice as long as they're not underage. Whatever, man. Live your life like Rihanna. I don't give a shit. I think what it came down to for Tucker Carlson is there was one email total that said, hey, you've got to look out for the big guy here, H. And if you don't have supporting emails to back that up, that one fucking email of guessing who the big guy is not going to win you a fucking court case or anything in the court of public opinion.
Well, that's not true. Anybody that had any suspicion, any amount of evidence would shift them into that direction, right? I'm not saying that's an ethical way to go about your life. Maybe he had a crisis of conscience here, but it seems unlikely because he is kind of a guy that likes to dig in.
He does.
It seems very weird to me that he capitulated. I do not believe for any amount of time that this wasn't either the documents turned out to be fake, and I'm talking about the stuff in addition to what we've already seen, because the stuff we've already seen, those emails, again, this is the point of the story, have been verified.
Right.
And also the big guy has been named as Biden by Bobulinski. Right. So that is corroboration. That is how, like, if this is a court of law, a jury of 12 would have to decide whether or not Bobulinski himself is credible and whether Hunter Biden and Joe denying this stuff is credible. Right. That's what they would have to decide because the facts of the case are clear. Money did change hands. These emails are legitimate. Right. And et cetera. So now who was involved in what, when did they know what, and what legal implications are there is something that a jury would have to decide after that, right? Yes. But it's not something you just say, I don't want to pile on. I don't believe that.
No, I don't either. And the other theory that is floating around the interwebs is, did Tucker Carlson, and look, I don't know that I side with this one either, but did Tucker Carlson go hard on this story simply because it was a week before the election? He knew that this was probably true, which I suspect, by the way, of all world leaders, not just fucking the Bidens, but everybody.
Anybody that's been in politics for 47 years owes somebody something.
Right. And did he just say, hey, man, fuck it. As a week-long distraction before the election, I will run as hard as I fucking can with this story. It is great ratings for me. It is certainly fodder for voters. And if there is one person out there who can be convinced by a story like this, right, congratulations, I'm going to fucking dig in because it would be great for me and my company.
Well, that's good because apparently the Justice Department has bought into the story as well, and that's our next story.
Yes.
A reporter at the Sinclair Broadcast Group reported that a Justice Department official has confirmed to him that the FBI opened a criminal investigation into Hunter Biden and his associates that is focused on the allegations of money laundering and that investigation remains open and active today. Right.
By the way, Sinclair Broadcast Group is one of the very biggest in the United States. They own everything.
Yep.
So it's not some nickel and dime operation.
No, they used the parent company because they probably didn't want anybody to find out who the source was.
Yes.
That'd be my guess.
And I think all of it is true with Hunter Biden and Joe and all this other shit. I also think it goes on all of the fucking time.
Yeah.
Clinton Foundation, everybody else. And I'm sure the Trumps are doing shit all the time. But to me, if you're president, your kids are going to try to leverage it for power and everybody else. And hey, come meet my dad, Shit. I've had, children of famous friends who were just like, hey, dude, my dad will be there at that thing. And it's like, oh, shit, you don't even like the kid.
Right, yeah.
You're like, well, his dad's going to be there, so maybe we should show up.
Well, now the Trump campaign is trying to get Biden to comment on it. I doubt he will.
No,
right?
we're 3 days before.
But there's no question that the FBI is actively investigating Hunter Biden and his company, and I would assume if they're doing their jobs, they're also investigating Joe's responsibilities and role in all this as well.
Yeah.
But nothing's going to happen before the election. That's not how investigations work. I'll take the under on that, on Biden responding to this in any way. Yeah. Unless somebody can bait him. He is an irritable old man.
Yep.
If you could get him alone long enough to bait him, he will fucking say shit. And that's why his campaign team, anytime he starts to stumble or fumble or stutter, or anytime anybody starts to they can tell somebody's getting under his skin, they grab him and get the fuck out. Like somebody asked him a question the other day, and he just started like fucking remixing his own words. But it wasn't like he wasn't stuttering. He just couldn't think of anything.
Right.
Like he was like, oh, well, and it wasn't stuttering and being stupid are not the same thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Stuttering is like you're trying to say a word, but you can't get it out of your fucking mouth. Not remembering things is not stuttering. I don't know why we have to fucking draw a line all of a sudden after 60,000 goddamn years between these two clearly separate things. Because the left is like, oh, no, it's just a stutter. He's had it since he was a kid, man.
No.
Like, no, there's 80 years of video of this asshole talking, dude.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
And he used to be a great public speaker, by the way.
It's just nonsense. So as soon as he started, like, flubbing on the question, and it was about, like, hey, you're going to fucking, I think it was about oil and gas. You're going to shut down all of our fucking jobs, bro. He's like, well, blah, 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 blah. But he wasn't stuttering. There was just no words. He was, like, doing that thing that people do when they don't know what they're going to say. You know what I mean? It's like, well, the real deal is, and by the way, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
It was that, and they just grabbed him. Like, then they actually, his campaign staff, like, made a perimeter. They, like, pushed people, like, all right, we got to go, get back.
Well, they're used to it now at this point.
Can you imagine?
There was people at the rally, though, yesterday that were chanting out Hunter Biden, and during his entire speech, all they kept doing was firing off Hunter Biden questions.
That's funny.
Finally, he was forced to respond to it, but obviously he wasn't answering any of these questions. So you're not going to hear shit. We're 3 days before. That's it, man. I mean, look, this weekend, take this weekend alone, right? Americans have Halloween, which is everybody's going to rage. I'm not going to think about politics one single second of Halloween.
Oh, I am. I'm going to ask every door we go to trick or treat, who you voting for, bitch? Who you voting for?
You'll know in my neighborhood, there's a sign up in every single yard.
Oh,
so,
boy.
Yeah, when you come, you come. No, there's only one Biden sign in that whole neighborhood, so.
It doesn't matter.
It's pretty funny.
This is a good question. Jay Graveman S. says, legitimate question here for everyone. If Biden wins, would you accept it as a legitimate win in any circumstance? Same with Trump.
I'll answer that.
Yeah.
I would, yes. If Biden wins, I will absolutely accept it. I'm not one of these fucking people who's now if it's like 5 votes or something crazy like that, like
well, under 1% triggers an automatic
recount
anyways. But it depends on how he wins. If it looks suspicious, usually it is.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, if he wins like by 4 percentage points across the U.S., then no, I'm not going to look into it, frankly, because those numbers are too big to fake.
Same. And as much shit as we talk about all politicians and all this other shit, like I'm not a conspiracy guy either, where I'm not going to sit there. I'm with Dan. If it's 4 points or plus, move on with your fucking life, dude. I'm not going to spend any time.
It's almost impossible
to
win the Electoral College at that point. I think 3.7, 3.8 point difference is where it starts to become impossible in a straight up election like that, or a head to head rather.
In either way, we will be here in the studio on Wednesday, same as every other fucking day. So nothing's gonna be. We'll be super hungover that day, but
well, I've got IVs for us, but you're scared, so
I don't like needles. I don't like needles and heights.
An IV is literally the smallest possible needle now.
No, it's not at all.
Tiny, teensy little needle.
And I don't like dogs who wear child's clothing.
You can boof saline solution. I think that'll help.
Boof?
Yeah, put it in your butt.
Yeah, it absorbs faster and the salt holds the water.
That was Michael J. Fox's girlfriend in Teen Wolf.
That's actually an
Boof?
I understand it for drugs and stuff, homeboy, but when you do it with water, especially salt water, that's called an enema.
Yeah. Come on, Boof. Everybody
You're
likes
gonna
the wolf.
shit everywhere.
I'm just trying to give Ross a crane colon.
Come on,
guys.
Boof. You know what's weird is I've had
There's no hope for that.
I've had enemas and all this other shit. I've done all of the things.
So you done a little juice cleanse, a little maple syrup and cayenne pepper.
Yeah, I've done all of it.
You know what?
Ayahuasca.
I don't mind. I'll tell you what. I mind that less than a needle. I'd rather get a tube up my ass and have it suck out all the shit than a needle in my arm.
Let me ask you this: I just thought of this because I was thinking about that earlier conversation. But because this guy is talking about potential Biden win, do you think is there any room for the fact, or is there any room for the concept of a Biden win being a win for America because it doesn't allow the AOCs to actually get the power, or is it too late? Has he already been? Is he just a puppet with Harris behind him and stuff like that? I feel like if it was him and another traditional candidate, there might be some room to make that argument where it would be better for America, even if we have an economic downturn for now, where we block this young generation of socialists from getting into real power.
So
you know what I mean?
I'll go there because I've thought about this. So if Biden wins, first of all, I don't know if he survives the first term, and I'm not saying this is like in a flippant way. Like I don't know if he lives that out till 82 years old.
Right.
And then Kamala gets in there, however you pronounce her fucking name. She gets in there. Here's what I really think will happen. I think Trump supporters, because of how passionate they are and how much they love him, will go all in on Ivanka. And I think she would be the 2024 nominee. And I think she would be pretty formidable by that point. Because you add another 4 years after the 4 years we've been in, right? I look back to 2016 with Trump and Twitter and the rise of that. That's when Twitter really started gaining steam, where it was just like, politics, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Imagine another 4 years worth of whatever's going to happen after this, right? There will be some other social media, some other fucking thing, more filters, all this other shit. It's going to be about fame and branding and money. And I don't know on the Democrat or the Republican Party who would be stronger than the Trump brand at that point. And I think Republicans would ride the fact that there would be so many pissed off Trump supporters over this election that if Biden were to win, that they would go all in on Ivanka and she would ride that wave of let's get a Trump back in office.
Maybe.
That's my guess.
I mean, I'm not sure that someone that young is ever going to be elected president.
She just turned 39 today. Happy birthday, Ivanka. You couldn't be hotter.
Are we really trying to start another political family and induce more nepotism?
But that's where we are. But if you look back to the Kennedys and the Bushes,
right? Are we really trying to do more of that?
Yes, we've done that historically in America for 200 years. Why wouldn't it continue at this point?
I'd rather have The Rock.
The other one is there's a rumor that Chelsea Clinton's going to run. That's been going around for a while as well, man.
Fuck it. I'm Meghan McCain. Like, yeah, sure.
Here's the thing. If The Rock ran, I don't know that anybody's beating The Rock in 2024.
He could have ran in 2020. I was hoping he would.
Well,
when Joe was pitching it.
Why would any human being vote for The Rock?
Why do people vote for Donald Trump?
Because he's a fucking leader.
Well, here's the thing. But if you,
The Rock's a self-made man, right?
No, forget about that.
He was on Celebrity Apprentice, and now he's the president of the United States.
The idea, I get what you're saying, but that's a really reductive view on the way people view Donald Trump. One, there was the idea that he was an outsider, which, maybe,
that's why I voted for him.
Maybe The Rock would have some of that, but not as much now that he's tied himself to establishment candidates, right? That'd be a problem for him.
He's a much different candidate now than he was 6 months ago.
However, The Rock as an individual, right? That's fine. Yeah, he's a businessman. We think of the president as somebody who should be smart in business and law, right? That is true. But the president's most important job is to be a fucking leader. And who has The Rock led exactly in the last 40 years or 30 years since he left college football? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's no leadership qualities there. Maybe he watches fucking Jocko and learns them from there. But in his personal life, aside from being a dad, and if that were the case, if it was simply being rich and being a dad, then there would be a lot more candidates for president than there usually are. You could not be less qualified than The Rock, right? I would say, and I'm not a fan of the Trump family, but I would say Ivanka's infinitely more just because she's been working in the government for the last few years, right?
And Kushner.
And actually being a boss in a major business. That's why I think people voted for Trump, honestly. I think part of it was people were excited about the fact that he was a celebrity, basically, right? And he was an Washington outsider, but the people that thought about it and then voted for him did it because they knew he was a leader in the business community.
Right.
That's why they did it. And I think anybody that doesn't have those credentials, you're going to have something else. Like something big to win a fucking presidential election. You need 60 fucking million votes. 60 to 70 million votes at this point to win that election.
Yeah. Look,
it's a lot of goddamn people.
This is all hypotheticals at this point, but I just think that the way that the office of president is going, to me, it started with Bill Clinton playing his fucking saxophone, and then moved on up through Obama on Jimmy Fallon doing the quiet whisper game or that other shit, and then homegirl in the backseat of James Corden's car singing Missy Elliott songs.
What if the
Trump on Twitter every goddamn day? That's where we're headed.
What if the presidency was like it was a blind election? And this is what I mean when I say that. Anybody can register for the election, right? Or you can register as a candidate, but your name and face never appear on anything. Mm-hmm. It's just what you say and your plan in black and white, and what you say about it, and your responses to things. And the media has access to you, but if it would be a federal law, I guess, that they can't disclose who you are. Because what is your name, or the way you look, or where you're from, or your accent, or any of that stuff have to do with whether or not you become the president of the United States?
So this is a game show that is currently airing on Netflix. They're doing it with relationships based on conversations where you can't see the other people. It exploded, obviously, right? So you're applying the same theory to the president.
This is how FDR got elected and how they hid him. He was in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
So we just need to de-evolve 60 years.
A brilliant filmmaker came along, wrote a movie called FDR American Badass.
Did he have machine guns in his wheelchair?
He did, and he put him in a wheelchair so that way the world knew that he was in a wheelchair.
God. Yeah. He meant business.
He meant business. Fuck polio. Marco Polio. That's in that movie. So I think it would be interesting, but it'll never happen in a million years.
No, of course not. Nothing that makes any kind of sense is going to happen in this country until we make it.
Yeah. It's going to be the most famous people there is. That's it.
This is America, and we a lot of people have this idea that, well, it's just like that. This is how it is. When have we ever accepted that as an excuse, as a country? Like, when have we ever said, well, that's just how it is? No, we don't do that here. That we build things, we innovate, we solve problems, we help other people solve their goddamn problems, and it is, I think, patently un-American to have that viewpoint that it's just going to be like that, and allow that to continue. We can't do that.
I agree, and I think that's what's going to happen on Tuesday.
We'll see. I mean, I can't. To be honest, I'm fine either way with this election. I obviously think that Trump is better for America right now, for sure. But whatever happens, happens. But I gotta say, I can't wait to see the memes, and if provided he wins. Mm-hmm. I want to see the memes. I want to see the reactions. I want to see Rachel Maddow's face.
Yes.
And the moment she finds out he got reelected.
And that is why, for me personally, I look at this like my own Super Bowl that hopefully the Falcons win, where I hate the media. I hate the celebrity bullshit. Mm-hmm. I hate being told to go vote. I hate being treated like I'm some fucking dumb Oliver Twist who's just asking for more soup. Like, no, dude, you're not above me because you have more fucking followers on social media. Like, that's one of my biggest fucking reasons in this election that I'm amped about this is that.
And I don't have any respect for the politicians themselves either. Honestly.
Right.
Like, watching the campaign ads they put out, like, if I can watch your fucking 30-second ad on TV and already know you're full of shit, then that's bad, man. That means you think I'm fucking stupid.
And the things that I have respect for are the things that aren't shown. Like today. What you showed me today was like that, but it'll never be in the news or anything else. And
it can't be.
I know. But that's what I have the respect for. So
it's interesting to see a president in a tumultuous election take a day off of campaigning a week before the goddamn election to visit with people who've done a lot of good work for this country.
And that no one will hear about it. Yeah. And that's what's impressive to me. Last but not least here, the WHO speaks out against shutdowns. The Director General, in a letter meant to dispel the idea of intentionally promoting herd immunity with COVID, also urged countries to use targeted intervention where and when needed based on local situations. The DG also explained herd immunity, which a lot of folks don't seem to understand. At this point, do you think a lot of people don't know? Or
I do absolutely think people don't understand, yes. People do not understand what herd immunity is. You don't just get herd immunity. It's different for every different virus, depending on how viral it is and other factors as well, how long it stays in the air and blah, 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 if it's airborne transmitted. Like some, I can't remember which one it is, some disease, and they mention it in, or of some virus, they mention it in this paper, has the herd immunity only occurs at 95% infection. Mm-hmm. That is untenable. Like, we can't do that. If COVID is that, if it's 95% for herd immunity, we can't allow that to happen because that's too many dead people.
Right.
Like, there would be too many old people that are dying, right, from that. That'd be crazy. It seems like sound advice, but this is what Sweden has done the entire time, and it seems like they've been pretty successful with that.
You haven't heard shit out of Sweden.
So why is this not getting any news coverage? Like, if you as a news organization get to sit down and decide what gets coverage and what doesn't, meaning you get to decide what information the American public does and does not have, then you are a public utility at that point.
Yeah. But the problem is it doesn't fit the narrative going into this election. I saw last night that there was a record number of, COVID cases, 90,000 today or whatever reported. Well, we have more testing now.
Yeah.
Therefore, these numbers are getting higher and higher and higher. Whereas at the beginning of this,
and maybe there are spikes.
Maybe, but you look at somebody like Trump, who's 75. He beat it.
74, yeah.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence got it last night for Clemson, the quarterback of Clemson. I'm sure he'll be fine. Yeah. Fucking, what is it? 38 players on Clemson already had it. They look fine, by the way, if you haven't seen Clemson play this year. So
yeah.
I'm sure Trevor Lawrence is going to be fine and all this shit's going to be fine, but it does not fit into their narrative of COVID is bad, you're all going to die, stay inside, give up your shit.
And them saying that, by the way, is just them calling you stupid.
Yes.
It's what it is them saying, I can't give you real information because you won't know what to do with it. Like, if I told you that it's okay if you're not around old people, then you'll forget and show up around an old person and get them sick.
Yeah.
Like, no, the average American, first of all, it's individual liberty. You have to allow people to make mistakes. But besides that, people do misunderstand things quite a bit. It is important to have good information out there. It is not important when organizations like the World Health Organization or Fauci or any of these assholes use what I like to call informational Kentucky windage. You know what I mean? They're like, it's close to the truth, but I just bend it a little bit to get the better reaction out of people. Like, that is not up to you. You don't get to decide what information I get and I don't get. This is not a goddamn dictatorship. I get the information and I'll fucking decide. You absolute piece of shit. Anyways, the Director General of the World Health Organization did say this. He said it's not a choice between letting the virus run free and shutting down our societies. He spoke out pretty clearly on certain things you can do, like limiting, amplifying events, whatever that means. I assume he means big crowds of people all in the same place without distancing and all that shit. Protecting vulnerable people and educating communities. Well, we definitely failed at the last two things. The people that have been most stringent about shutdowns and stuff in this country with regard to the virus, the first thing they did was let a lot of old people die unnecessarily. All of them. Every single one of those governors allowed that to happen. So we definitely failed on that. With regard to the education of the American public, despite, or in addition to the fact that our education system is fucked, the information flow has been absolute dog shit from all of these organizations, the WHO, the fucking Health and Human Services here in America, and all these other things. So I've got a question. What exactly is America or any of these governors who shut down the states done to protect those most at risk, other than shutting down our economy, which the World Health Organization says is unnecessary? Like, what have these people, Democrats and Republicans, whether it's Whitmer or Abbott, what have they actually done to make people safer, other than shutting down our economy, which again is apparently a bad idea?
The answer is nothing. But a more complicated answer to that is I don't know what they could have done, because we still don't really have that great of information regarding this particular disease. We're certainly not going to get it from fucking China. In all of these instances, I want to hope, and I guess this is probably naive on my part, that when all of this happened and this all came out, each governor was making the best decision they thought that they could possibly make for their state and their constituents, which is a word that I fucking hate. But you wanna hope that they had the best intentions in mind. Now, as this went along throughout the summer and we get closer and closer to the election, I think a lot of it turned political at that point. But all these assholes who are on TV every day, and like I watch this shit when I get home. I'll usually fire through the news late at night or keep it on in the background or whatever. All these fucking doctors, Sanjay Gupta and all these other assholes, Fauci and everything else. Fauci was, at one point he said, don't wear a mask. It's unnecessary. It's stupid. You're only going to get sicker and everything else.
Right.
Like, there's been so much misinformation from all of these doctors across the board that I don't know who to believe. I don't know what to believe. All I know is that, fuck, I had it. It wasn't that bad. I beat it and moved on with my fucking life. And so did a lot of other people. But clearly, people are dying from it as well. So what steps or measures do you actually take without having the full information on this disease? And I don't fucking know. And I don't care who was president during this. They weren't going to do anything different either way, whether it was Biden or Trump.
I don't know what Trump could have done differently.
I don't either.
He could have
shut down. Look, he shut down the airlines.
He certainly could have been a lot less flippant about the way he communicated scientific data to the general public. Like, I understand that you like to troll people and you like to make smart ass comments when people ask you about chlorine because you know that's stupid and it's not the same thing. I get it. But it weakens the position when the person putting out the information doesn't take it seriously. And I don't think he did. I think he let a lot of his personality get involved in how he disseminated the information, and it made this into a science versus unscientific argument, and that's not what it is. The science says that people who are older, fatter, are more at risk. People that have these certain list of conditions are more at risk. Let's take care of those people while not shutting down the economy until we see evidence that other people are greatly at risk. And if we don't, then we keep pushing forward. That is something that he could have said from the start, and he didn't say that.
Right.
President Trump, nobody on the right said any of that shit. Now, a couple of weeks later, they started talking about reopening the economy, but none of them said shit at the time. And we already had that data. One of the first things we learned about COVID is that for some reason, it didn't really affect younger people. We knew that almost immediately. Like in February, late January, probably we already knew that. So none of these assholes had the fucking testicular fortitude to do anything about that fact. That is a fact. You should be able to, if somebody says something like, hey, we need to shut this down, the majority of your workforce is not fucking 65 years old. They're in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, the majority of your workforce. These people are a very low risk category. They can continue working. Now we have to maybe make special arrangements. Like I know some of the, a couple of months ago, some of the small mom and pop places around here, and even a lot of the big retail stores, particularly grocery stores, would have from like 8 to 9 a.m. It was only people that were over 65 or over 60 allowed in.
Right.
Like it was, and they fucking went crazy, keeping it super clean, making sure that the workers, there were no slip ups. Like for an hour, you can concentrate and not touch your face.
Right.
For 8 hours, probably not, right? So they did this in a really smart way. Nobody fucking had the balls to do it because they were scared of the outcome. And that's not leadership.
If you started losing children, though, that's when America and everything else would turn. And
yeah.
I think that's why they didn't.
But we didn't, and there was no indication we ever would from the very beginning.
I get it. But that was, I think, their fear on both sides, where it was like, oh, shit, what do we do now? Now looking back at it, look, kids are in school, my kids are in school and all that other shits, and so far so good, right? Mm-hmm. So
there's no indication unless this virus mutates into something else, which you cannot plan for. There's no indication that it's ever going to be that dangerous for children.
Correct.
Or people that are in their 10s or teens or 20s, 30s, 40s.
Right.
It's just not that we've got months and months of data. We have millions of cases and about 1 million deaths, a little bit less than 1 million deaths worldwide. We have plenty of data at this point to know exactly what the fuck this thing does.
I agree. Open it up is what I say. Now it's time to get to the Drinkin Bro of the week. This one was anonymous. I don't think we've had an anonymous one before. Anonymous from Pennsylvania. Member of Drinkin Bros for 1 year. And he's nominating the Boys and Girls in Blue. Another week, another city burning, they say. This one goes out to my brothers and sisters in blue. Oh, so he's clearly a cop. The ones that uphold the weight of the badge and honor it day in and day out. As a wise man once said, you matter. Remember, you aren't alone. Stay strong, stay safe, and hold the line. Also, shout out to Ross and Dan for all you do in support of the law enforcement community. I think that I speak for all Drinkin Bros out there when I say we appreciate all you guys and what you do and what you stand for. Keep up the good work. Cheers from Anonymous. Look, Dan and I believe in the same things here when it comes to the police, obviously. One, this is a fucking difficult job that you guys are grossly underpaid, and you put yourself in harm's way every single day. Two, during all of this shit that's been going on with the police in particular, Dan and I hate bullies. And we feel in this instance that you guys are being bullied in all these fucking cities by simple dipshits who are out there saying, fuck the police, throwing bottles, water bottles, sticks and fucking stones at you and all this other shit. And it's like, for what? Because they're not going to fucking do anything, and they can't do anything because you're a citizen that's walking around. Otherwise, I'd say, hey, just take out the nightstick, take him out back, and beat the shit out of him. But you can't.
Yeah, we're not in that world anymore where a police officer could leave their gun and badge in the car and just fist fight somebody in the street. I think that's an important part of culture.
Right.
Like low-level conflict resolution. We want to start at the lowest possible level, whether it's paying taxes or settling disputes, and then it rises through the courts or it rises through the federal government, whatever it is. I think the same thing, it's escalation of force, right? Like you want to start at the lowest possible level because you want to win, but you want to do the least amount of damage to your environment when you do so. And we've seemed to have lost the ability to do that. Like you can't say certain things anymore. You can't, like if you get into a fight with another grown man out in public these days, you're probably going to fucking get arrested and go to jail for it, which is ridiculous. Like why the fuck would you, if it's mutual combat, some states actually do have mutual combat laws.
Oh yeah.
Like if you two both decide to fight and there are witnesses to that effect, unless you go wild on somebody, you know what I mean, and fucking pull their legs off or something, it's going to be fine, whatever happens.
Right.
I think that's a really important part of life. And it's something that we're missing now, and you see it. Because now, everything I disagree with is Hitler. Right. There's no fucking middle ground between those two goddamn things. And that is an absurd way to go through life. I mean, you know those people. You know those people that are super dramatic. As soon as one thing happens, they're like, oh, fucking, and they're just freaking out about it for the next 6 weeks. That's all they do. Like, Jesus Christ, dude, maybe don't do that. Gotta get back to work at some point.
At some point. We'll find out if people get back to work on Wednesday. In the meantime, go to iTunes, rate the show a 5-star, and leave a quick review. It is not the millions of listeners we have. It is actually the reviews that move us up the charts. Tuesday, we will be live with you right here on our YouTube page, Drinkin Bros Podcast. So subscribe. And
we got another episode of American Party Podcast going out tonight
at 8
as well,
o'clock tonight. So tune into that and subscribe if you have not already.
Leave us a review over there, too. It's a new show. It helps.
Yep. It helps keep them in the charts.
Even if you've already left a review, leave another one.
Leave another one from another phone. Steal somebody's phone and leave a fucking review. They'll never know. It's not like it goes to their email or anything.
Does it?
And then Tuesday, we will be live at, 6 Central, so what is that, 7 East Coast? And that election show will be going on all night. So tune in with us I have a feeling we're probably going to be one of the only ones you end up liking to watch.
You guys may
that
be
night.
a little busy before that, maybe on Election Day, aren't you?
We are. We'll be very busy, yes.
Can we say that?
I think so. Well, Alex Jones has asked us to be on his pre-election show on InfoWars, so I think we're going to hop on over there and do that, and then return. I think Mr. Jones might be joining us that night as well, and along with a ton of other guests. We're on for like 6 or 7 hours that night, so there's going to be a bunch of your faves in town that will be on air with us that night. Shit'll get wild, man. We're at a bar and in downtown Austin, and we'll see what happens. But subscribe to Drinkin Bros podcast and definitely click on the notifications. So that way you get notified of it. For D'Anthony Holloway, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Drinkin Bros Fake News. Good night, everyone.